Ugh. Chugga, 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 choo choo. Chugga, 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 woo, woo. Good morning to you as well. Hello, hello. Canadian Fuhrer in second today. A disappointing finish for him. I'm too early. This is just what I'm doing now, man. I'm going to bed early and I'm waking up early, apparently. That's early to bed and early to rise, apparently the new thing. Top of the morning to you. How's the weight loss going? Slow but steady, baby. Slow but steady. Doctor was happy with the pace, so I'm going with slow but steady. It's worth it for the beautiful sunrises. I didn't quite get the sunrise this morning. Wasn't quite up for the sunrise this morning, but definitely up in the early AM. Bro, your rap produced by Marshall was absolutely wonderful. I'm glad you liked it. We had a lot of fun making it. We're going to work on some other stuff together, play around musically together. It's a lot of fun. He's a really talented producer, so that beat, he sent me that beat, and I'd been up all night, and it was like back when I was still living in Louisiana. He sent me that beat, and I'd been up all night, and I sat down, I heard the beat, and I was like, I had to write something. So I sat down and I started writing for it, and I recorded him just like a quick cover of it on my computer, and he was like, dude, you got to give me an acapella so I can mix it. And he's been tweaking it for a while he's working on his other stuff, and it came out really good. Paul, I got to get back to work, but I want to drop in and wish you good fortune and a great new day. Much love, my dude. Yeah, thank you. I'm not wealthy and wise yet, no, but I'm healthy and wise. I'm sick, but I'm healthy. I'm poor, but I'm kind. I'm tired, but I'm working, yeah. I do enjoy the colder climate, yeah. I'm high, but I'm grounded. I'm sane, but I'm overwhelmed. I'm lost, but I'm sorry, baby. How much weight are you trying to lose? So right now, as we speak, I weigh around 300 pounds or so, maybe just under. I'm trying to weigh around 250, 240 pounds. So I've got about 50 pounds that I want to lose. Give or take 5 pounds. You know what I mean? You remind me of Hagrid by appearance, and I mean that in a good way. I get that a lot, bro. The beard and the long hair, the big poofy hair. You know, I mean, I don't know what I'm going for. I like the way it looks, though, so I'm proud to look like Hagrid. Hagrid was a good-hearted soul. You and TJ inspired me to start losing weight. I started when you guys did. I'm down to 216 from 250. Good job, man. That's a significant little chunk of weight you've lost. What'd you say if I said John Mayer's the best guitar player of all time? I don't think he's the best guitar player of all time, but he is an underrated guitar player. What was that song that he had? I'm trying to remember the name of it. Quarter Life Crisis or something like that. I don't know. He had his first album. He can play the fucking Neon. Yeah. It's a good song. Paul, run for president in 2024. Fuck you. No. No. Have you ever listened to Dark Necessities? I have not. Would you give advice for new rappers on how to make it like you have? Yeah, dude, you just got to keep on that grind. Nah, mean. Why not? Because I don't want the responsibility. I don't want the bullshit. I don't want the disappointment. I don't want the expenditure. I don't want the involvement. I don't care enough about this country to want to fucking even try to do something about it. Politically speaking, I don't think I'd make a very good president. The list goes on, bro. There's no chance that I would ever win the presidency. There's that as well. I don't have the money to run a campaign. I don't have the fucking will to do it. I don't really, like I said, do it for the meme. Yeah, if I did do it, that's what it would be for, the meme. I would do it for the memes and the memes only. And why do you constantly talk about politics when you don't care about this country? I didn't say I don't care about this country. I said I don't care enough to want to be involved in the political process in this country. And I talk about politics constantly because I can talk about whatever the fuck I want. Is that fill in the blanks for you? Yeah, you guys wouldn't want me president, dude. You would hate me as a president. Like, let's go with the hypothetical future situation, right? Where I'm possibly president. And let me tell you what I would do. Number one, the internet would completely and utterly change, dude. Executive orders on the internet. I would fucking shut down all these fucking private companies, and I'd create a publicly available social network on the fucking internet. The 2-account solution would start to be fucking implemented immediately. All of your alts would fucking go poof, and you'd have 2 accounts. One fucking anonymous account and one account where people can click on it and see your fucking basic information, like your name, where you're from. Not your whole address, but just your name and where you're currently residing, the state you're currently residing in, etc. You guys would hate me as president, dude. I would immediately destroy all that you love. I'd do some good shit too, though. Well, I'd do some shit that I think that the 2-account solution would be good shit, but I'd do some good shit in your eyes too. You'd have to deal, dude. Dude, the 2-account solution, I'm telling you, it's I have never heard anybody fucking talk about the 2-account solution to save the internet but me. Yeah, I would definitely end the wars. You know, I'd bring all the troops home, close down all the fucking surreptitious military bases all over the country, and reinvest that into the infrastructure of this country for sure. But in addition to that, I would also, codify the internet as the new public square, and create a social network that everyone used, that was protective of free speech and expression. No, it wouldn't. It would create mob rule where unpopular opinion people would be banned from discourse. Well, that's the whole idea, right? Is that if you have an unpopular opinion right now and I want to ban you, I can't. Now, I can ban you, but you can take 5 minutes of your time and be back in my chat. And that's the problem that the 2-account solution addresses. The 2-account solution takes away your superpower where you're 9 million different people and 9 million different personalities, and you can have whole ass arguments with yourself to make it look like there's something going on that isn't. See, I'm talking about a public public square here, right? So, let's get a little boomerish with it. Back before the internet, when people wanted to make political speeches that were popular or unpopular or outside of the Overton window or whatever, they did so in this weird place called the public square, where they would stand up on boxes, They would get, you know, you ever heard standing on your soapbox? Well, that came from the fact that people would bring their soapbox to the public square. They would stand up on it and they would speak. Now, there's a transaction happening here. One person is speaking, but he has to have an audience to speak to, and that audience is completely and utterly willful. They don't have to stop and listen to a fucking thing he says. They can shout him down if they want to. They can ask him questions if they want to, or they can just simply walk on by and pretend they don't even see or hear the fucking guy. On the internet, that is not the case. Let's just say that somebody's giving a speech in the real public square, and some asshole comes along, right? That's like just disrupting, just blowing a vuvuzela or something. And the people that are gathered around want to hear what the person has to say. That person is going to be removed from the public square. The disruptive element is going to be either removed forcibly or non-forcibly from the public square so that the speech can continue. On the internet, that influence, you remove him and then two pop up in his place, you see. If anonymity didn't exist on the internet, people would be way more careful. But see, I still want anonymity to exist on the internet. That's why it's a 2-account solution and not a single account solution. I think that people that want to say unpopular things that they don't want appended to their name use their anonymous account. And if they use their anonymous account to troll or disrupt or be stupid or spam or whatever the fuck, then it gets banned, and they've got 2 choices. Go find somewhere else to troll, or come troll with your fucking name. That's the point. Those are your choices. So once you fucked up and gotten banned on your anonymous account, you've got 2 choices. Go find somewhere else to fuck around, go find another group or start your own with your anonymous account, or come on back with your normal account. Let everybody see your name and where you fucking live, and I guarantee you your fucking tact is different. I'd rather use my name. I stand behind everything I say. Well, I feel the same way. I outed myself. I doxed myself when it comes to my real name pretty early on in my internet quote-unquote career. I think I'd been on the Drunken Peasants as a full-time guy for a couple of months, and I was just, you know what, fuck it. Here's my name. This is who I am. Here's where I live, etc. I agree with the 2-account system would make the internet better. Of course it would. What if you are doxxed on your Anon account? Well, how would that happen? How would you get doxxed on your Anon account if you are, I mean, unless you're too stupid to keep your fucking identity secret? Like you could name yourself Ichiban Kasuga, the lead character of fucking the new Yakuza 7 game. You could name yourself Ichiban Kasuga, and if you're stupid, somebody's gonna find out your real name. You know what I mean? It's up on you to, protect the fucking anonymity of that account. Okay, first of all, I'm not even going to start that. Paul, unrelated, but I actually support the war on... Okay. Well, if you support the war on terror, you're retarded. I'm not even going to read the rest of your comment. There's 2 comments there that I'm getting better at that shit. If I can tell something's going to be stupid, I just stop reading it and move on to the next. I give my social security number and banking information as a sign of transparency and trust. The war on terror. Get the fuck out of here, dude. I'm not trying to hear that hot take today. It's too goddamn fucking early in the morning for that hot take, bro. How would you get passwords for the 2-account? Would it be mailed to you from the government like an ID scanner? So my vision of this... What? Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, biometric ID would be one way of doing it. So retina scan or thumbprint would be one way of doing it. Both of these are ways that people get into their computers now, so I see no reason why those couldn't be used to authenticate these types of accounts. But yes, so like you are issued a social security number on the day of your birth, you would be issued your two accounts on the day of your birth. And it's actually, it gets a little sticky because it's actually a three account solution. So at the day of your birth, you are issued your internet identity. And within that internet identity are three accounts. The first account that will become available to you is your Kinder account, your kids account. And it only allows you to certain places on the internet that are okay for kids. And it only allows you to congregate with other kids. Any parent using that to, scam for, because this is a huge problem on the internet. People being like children being preyed upon on the internet. Is it?
Like that, 'cause you're like,
Right, exactly. So like you remove the ability for these people to be anonymous and bouncing through 17 VPNs so that they can prey on children online. And if they want to prey on children online, now they have to have a child of their own and they have to use that child's account to prey on children. You see? And so when it happens, which it will, guaranteed, it's not going to be hard to find that person, right? That person, you're going to see which child's account was used to groom this other child. You're going to know who that child's parent is, and finding the culprit is going to be real fucking easy. This is a huge unaddressed problem on the internet, and it's something that I've recently become more and more fucking passionate about as I realized that it's been a problem since I was a very young child. I've talked about it here before, and not to go into too much fucking detail, but I was on the internet very young, and pedophiles were like vampires around me. They found me immediately. Back when I got on the internet at first time, it was just chat rooms and shit. But I engaged in shit that no fucking 10-year-old boy should ever fucking engage in. With adults. All the way through my teens. You guys have heard the story that I tell about when I was fucking like 15 years old and started fucking around with a 28-year-old woman. Now, in her defense, I lied to her about my age. But that wouldn't have been possible.
there are people you didn't lie to when you were little.
Oh yeah, well there are people that wanted, like, I didn't have to lie. It was just her I lied to. But that's something that happened to me. That was one thing that happened to me in a long line of these weird child-adult relationships that I had on the fucking internet. Some of them one-off things, some of them went on for weeks or months. And there was no protection for me other than my parents who were completely oblivious. They found me immediately. The whole ASL thing was the way that they did it, because that was what we did back in the day. It's like you would introduce yourself, you would say, somebody new would come in the chat and you would say ASL and they would say Paul, or they would say 13 male, Florida, or whatever the fuck. Age, sex, location. Right? Well, when I was a little kid and I first learned what ASL was, and I would have been about 10 when I first started to go on these chat rooms, 10 or 11. I first learned what ASL was. I didn't lie about it. I said 10, male, California, or whatever. And it was fucking insane. It was fucking insane. I would put that in and I would get all of these requests from people to go to a private chat room. All of these people would just come out of the fucking woodwork. And for a little kid who's on the cusp of like puberty and shit, when you're that age, of course you're all interested in sex and shit. Your friends are all like, hee. You've seen a little bit of porn or whatever. And it's like all of a sudden, here's this adult that wants to have sex with you. Well, why the fuck not? See, I remember as a kid, I felt like I was in power. That's the power of the predator, is they make you feel like it's your choice to be doing what you're doing. But the truth of the matter is that you're incapable of making that consent because you don't understand what's going on behind it. I wasn't allowed on the internet by myself till I was 12 or 13. Maybe that's for the better. I mean, even that age, you know what I mean, is too early in my opinion. Maybe there's a tiered internet, you know what I mean? Like with this Kinder account that I'm talking about, where it follows your age. So when you're 6, it gives you websites that are applicable to kids that are between the ages of 10 and
And then
5.
maybe at 14 it opens up when you're in high school.
Right.
For research.
And then at 14, it opens up another little aspect of it, lets you interact with people in your peer group, gives you access to information that you're going to need for schooling and for reports and et cetera, right? Oh yeah, Merck. Well, Merck was one of the programs that that I got very early on because these people would want to take me private, and going private wasn't really a thing you could do back then. Like, okay, so in the old chat rooms, it was nothing but chat rooms. There was no DMs. That was invented later. You could exchange, I think, email addresses, but that was very uncommon back then because email addresses, you know what I mean? They were kind of tied to you. So you didn't want to do that. And so a lot of these guys would groom, guys, I assume, or probably women too, would groom me by telling me, oh, yeah, you should get this program, Merck. And they would send me the link to Merck, and they would teach me how to get into a Merck room that was theirs and utterly private. And that's where I would end up doing a lot of this shit. And Merck was just an IRC program. It's an internet relay chat program with a graphical user interface that made it capable of browsing different things. You could type in different servers, etc. And so they would walk me through that in the public chat room or in a chat room with fewer people in it. And then they would get me into this private chat room where they would just unload pictures, the whole nine. Now, I never sent pictures of myself. I guess I was asked for sure, but I guess I had the forethought. Well, number one, back then it was not easy to digitize a picture of yourself.
It's not like, Mom, can I borrow the
Right.
camera?"
There was no there were no phone cameras. There were no fucking digital cameras that you could plug into your computer that I remember. And if there were, they were very expensive and I didn't have one. And so it would have been me like scanning, and even scanners back then were like basically giant copy machines. So getting a picture of me was pretty tough. It wasn't something that I could very easily send to them. But I was asked. I was definitely asked for sure. And tried to walk through like how I could do it. I remember them trying to tell, oh, you can do this. You can take a picture like this, and then you can take it to the library, and you can blah, 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 and you can do this, and you can do that.
Oh my God, the library.
Yeah. They wanted me to take, they told me, nobody will check, you just pay. I remember them walking me through how I could walk down to the library and take a naked picture of myself and make a fucking...
Just imagine the poor librarian stumbling on that for the first time, because I'm sure you're not the only one they told that to.
It's ridiculous. Fax it to them or whatever the fuck. It's like... You take the naked picture to the library, and then you use their all-in-one machine to fax it to them. That's what these people wanted me to do. Because most public libraries back in the day had an all-in-one machine. You could pay like 50 cents or something and use it as a copy machine and or make a fax or whatever. I never took the pictures. Like, I never took it that far. I always maintained that distance, even as a kid. Like, I guess I was smart enough to do that. The only person that I went really, really far with was that chick. And that was because that started when I was a teenager, and I thought, oh, I can do this. You know, I can handle this face-to-face stuff, and I can do this blah, 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 blah. You know, I thought I was way older than I was. But when I was 10, 11, 12 and shit, when I was doing this shit, I was very careful not to let these people know where I actually was. You need to put your coat on, baby. You're goose bumping.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I saw a guy where he was definitely sniffing a half-eaten mouse head out there.
Oh.
So there's definitely mice out there that he's obsessed with.
Is he inside?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just looking around. I was like, oh, where's that done? Or
No, he walked around with him when it was getting wood.
I agree with you a lot of your problems, and they should be confronted. But giving everyone but a government-run email address at birth with fingerprint and eye scan seems a little 1984-ish. Well, I mean, what else? What other? Yeah, that's a great point. Number one, it already is. Number two, What's the alternative? Because a lot of people hate this idea when I bring it up. But then when I go, okay, well, how do we address the problem of mass online predation of children? Well, we got to just, there's no answer. And here's an answer. We make people accountable for the things they say and do online, just like they are in real life. If you walk up to somebody and say, man, fuck your mother, you might get slugged in the face. You say that online, you're not going to get slugged in the face. There's no consequence here. And so speech has become this fucking troll game where everybody can be a doctor online. Everybody can be a nurse online. Everybody can be a fucking lawyer online. Everybody can pretend they're 20 different people, and our discourse is rotten because of it.
We can make police actually prevent crime rather than investigate crime.
Right. We can put the police to work actually preventing crime. Yeah. People spinning the fucking narrative. You guys have seen it. Oh, I'm a gay black man. Oh, I'm a fucking non-binary person, and I disagree with this. I'm this poisoning the fucking well with their bullshit. And our discourse is poisoned because of it. And everybody goes like, well, this idea fucking sucks. It's 1984-ish. It's this, that. Okay, well, what's your fucking answer? Just allow the internet, the greatest tool that mankind has ever invented to connect people and to give people access to information and access to discourse with one another, to allow it to rot and be just a pedophile haven? Okay, well, fair enough. Good idea, guys.
In your chat, all those like Russian porn bot accounts or whatever.
I mean, it just goes on and on. The examples are just too numerous to fucking list. It would get boring. And yet when I come up with this fucking idea, or when I put this idea forward, people just want to fucking poo-poo it and not offer anything else. It's like, okay, you don't like my fucking idea, how are you going to handle it? Because right now, as we're doing this show, probably 10,000 kids, and that's probably low, in America alone, are being groomed by pedophiles online. And that's probably low.
Like that Roblox shit.
It's just happening. It's just happening. And I'm telling you, I'm open. Like, if you got a different fucking way that is more, preserves your privacy more, or doesn't involve the government, I'm fucking all ears, bro. But these fucking, what was it? 80% of the child pornography busts that happen on Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook. These companies ain't doing shit.
Or if they are, there's no possible way they can keep up with it.
These companies aren't doing shit. These private companies cannot be trusted to protect your children, because that's not what makes them money. What makes them money is giving pedophiles access to your children. So, what are we gonna do? Do you remember our jailbait? I never went there, but yes, I remember when it got banned. I remember it being a big internet news story when it was banned. It was basically just a Reddit community where they took like candid, lewd pictures of underage girls. There were no nudes or anything on it, as far as I can remember the story saying, but it was just like 11-year-old girls in bikinis, or an 11-year-old girl bending over in public and her panties are showing, or some shit. And that shit was just right out in the fucking open on Reddit for like, I don't know, years before they banned it. And now that shit is still out there on Reddit. It's just buried in these little sub-communities and
Or
discords, or fucking Roblox, like you were saying earlier. Just none of these companies are doing any of it. None of these companies are really doing it, like anything about this. They're doing these little token maneuvers, but they really don't care. I really don't care, do you? People are openly pedophiles online using their real names and faces, and nothing gets done. All right, openly being a pedophile online, nothing should be done about that. Okay? Other than that person should be watched and their fucking interactions with children monitored a little closer than your average Joe. It's not openly professing pedophilia.
Yeah,
That is the problem. Thought crime is not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is people that actually prey on fucking children. The people that have that fantasy and take it to the point where they're preying on children. That's the problem. Oh, look at that. Where am I getting this ash from? I must be like...
I think that you're like scraping the side of the thing, maybe.
But that would burn me.
Huh.
I'm not burning myself. I don't know where I'm getting this ash from. It's kind of cool, though. It makes me look awesome. I'm a mountain man.
Are you telling about your woods night?
My what?
Your peeing in the woods.
Oh, yeah. Last night I went and took a pee in the woods. Something manly about that, man. Something manly about that. You got to pee in the woods. Paul, at what age would people gain access to their anonymous account? So this question is up in the air for me, but I see no reason why we shouldn't, at least if we're doing this as an American initiative, right? The 2-account or 3-account solution as an American initiative. I would say that your access to the internet is tiered until you reach 18. At 18, you are considered able to consent in every state in the United States. You're considered legally an adult. You can work. You can rent an apartment. You can blah, 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 right? You can't vote yet, which is ridiculous. Oh, wait, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Sorry, I'm a boomer. They lowered the voting age to 18. Yeah, so you can vote. You can buy cigarettes. Can't buy out. That's what I was thinking of. You can't buy
cigarettes and alcohol no more.
Oh, you can't?
Cigarettes went up to 21.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
In every state?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Can't buy liquor or cigarettes yet, but whatever. You see, you feel me? I think that that's a good median age to start the conversation at, but I'd be willing to hear it either way. You know what I mean? 16 to 20 or 21 or whatever the fuck. But somewhere between that age group, 16 to 21, your real fucking internet shit unlocks. So you get your anonymous account, you get your full adult account, and you're able to go out and join the public discourse. Should be 21. Well, then there you go. Then another tier. You know, I'm fine with that. Like, I'm fine with, like, at 18, you get an 18 to 21 tier where it's just people in your age group. And then at 21, you get your full access. I'm fine with that, too. I don't think that that's overly restrictive or anything. You know, maybe at 18, you get your college level access or whatever.
Yeah, where you can go into more forums.
And you're way more wide open with people in your peer group, and maybe you have limited access to people who are also in your college but outside of your peer group, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It starts opening up, right? People who are in college but outside of your peer group studying the same thing, you can interact with them. So it unlocks in tiers until you're whatever we decide, you know what I mean, between 18 and 21, and then you get the full fucking shit.
The cigarettes thing, like, they dropped that, like, without warning in December 2019.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Parents consent at 16, your choice at 18, automatic at 21. That would work for me. I mean, I don't really like the parents consent at 16 thing, because I think that type of thing is going to allow for a lot of 16-year-olds to get preyed upon. But
well, it's like,
it's better than having
you
fucking...
can't count on parents when they're both working dead end or fucking paycheck to paycheck to...
One of the things you guys have to understand about what I went through, okay, is that I was on the internet at a time where nobody really knew about it. It was brand new. It was fresh. My dad was a geek, and that's the only reason I had access to it in my home. We were one of the first people that I knew that had a personal computer that had dial-up access to the internet. And so back then, it was already this bad. Now you've got like 5-year-olds who are being handed tablets to go on these sites that parents assume are safe for kids because they look all kiddie. Roblox and this, that, and the other. I don't know what some of the other ones. Hello Kitty Online and all this shit. And they're playing these little kiddie games, but there are adults playing those games grooming these fucking children. They're allowed to get on their little, what's the little social network, TikTok, that they use? Oh yeah, that's for kids. The TikTok, dude, there are fucking like 50-year-old men on TikTok. You know what I mean? You got 8, 6, 7-year-olds with unrestricted
Especially
fucking...
now when people are working from home and their kids kids are schooling from home. They're just trying to let their kid do their schoolwork, but they have access
Well,
to everything else while they're doing their schoolwork.
if parents were looking over their kids' shoulders or monitoring the internet, this wouldn't even need to be a conversation, but we cannot trust parents to do that. Most parents either don't know or don't care, right? It's all because parents don't want to actually parent their kids, so they give their kids a tablet at 5 years old. Right, but see, how much worse is that, though, than when I was a kid? See, I was outnumbered. That's why, there were very few children on the internet, bona fide children on the internet in the early days. Most of it was just these fucking 30, 40, 50-year-old men
Had enough money to get one.
who were nerds or worked in a business that was starting to use the internet, and they had this access, and they went out looking for fucking underage poontang. That was their whole thing. That was what it was for back in the day, as far as I can fucking tell.
And now there's probably like 1 million kids, like 8 to 12, that are online every day.
Easily.
Yeah.
Probably more. There's probably like 2-3 million children online at any given moment, and that's probably an underestimation.
Like ones where you can actually chat and shit or whatever.
Younger kids, kids with more access, and you remember that shit I was telling you about them trying to get me to take a Polaroid of my naked body and take it down to the library and send it to them via fax? It's a little easier now, isn't it? Ka-chee, ka-chee, ka-chee. There you go. This is what I'm talking about. So if you don't want to do anything about it, fine. Poo-poo my fucking ideas. But if you do, come up with a better idea than mine.
Or even non-child plans. They're planned online. Like people like posting manifestos before doing a mass shooting or whatever. If you can link them like that.
I mean, yeah. That's almost thought crimey. Like, if there's somebody that's posting, like, at 2 o'clock on Thursday, I will go to X place in the public and I will blow people up and blah, 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 it would make it very easy to find that person. If they're making credible threats and shit. But if it's just
they're not, they still, like, they question people.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you say, if you
like,
threaten...
You talk about the Secret Service, like, if people
right.
post something particularly nasty on Trump's Twitter, they might...
Well, yeah, if you threaten the president, you're going to get a call at least, or an in-person visit from the Secret Service. Like, that's just the way it is. And so we're able to do that for the most part. But for some reason, we can't do this other shit. And it's like, what? Just because some of us can't spontaneously think of a solution to online pedophilia doesn't validate your argument. Doesn't invalidate it either. You going, your idea is dumb, but having years to come up with some counter idea and not coming up with anything doesn't make your fucking argument look good either, does it? I've been harping on this shit for at least a year and a half, at least. You ain't got the fucking time to come up with a better idea? You can't treat... Here's the thing, dude. Your question is... Let me find it again. Excuse me. How do we treat the disease of pedophilia to better prevent it outside the internet sphere? Okay. So, this is a societal problem. The facts are that we know most pedophiles were abused as children. We know this. So intervention in childhood abuse is a way to prevent pedophilia from taking root in people. Once again, we know most active predators against children were preyed upon as children in some way, shape, or form, if not sexually, then physically or mentally, as children. We just know this. So if you want to prevent pedophilia or address pedophilia, you have to address the societal ill that underlies pedophilia. Step one is preventing children from being preyed upon easily by people outside of their family and household. Okay? And that's what we're talking about here with the 2-account, 3-account solution. Is that true? Yes, it is. You can look it up. Preying on children is passed down genetically. It's not always true, but it is true enough for there to be a correlation. It's not a genetic change. It's a mental change. Being attracted to people who are non-pubescent is a mental disorder. And mental disorders typically have triggering factors in people's lives. So if you want to reduce, now I don't think it's possible to completely eliminate pedophilia from humankind, right? But if you want to reduce the amount of child predators, you need to intervene before people are preyed upon as children, and that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about intervening in a way that keeps children from being preyed upon, at least by people outside of their family sphere.
Like, people are all concerned that, like, sex ed is, like, too in-depth now, but it has to be. They have to know what sex is.
That's a perfect segue to what I was going to say. The second point of this is you have to destigmatize sexual abuse. Not destigmatize the act, but destigmatize being a victim of it.
You have to explain to kids what it is, why it's
right.
Okay.
Children have to know, unfortunately, at a very young age, good touch, bad touch, and all that shit. And they have to know that they're not in trouble if somebody touches them. That they can tell, no matter who it is. And not to listen to anybody who tells them that it's bad if you tell about this. It's bad if you tell somebody about this. You'll get in trouble if you... That's what they do.
Because they get away with it by saying, like, oh, this is just a massage, or this is whatever.
And they'll tell the child, well, you know, if you tell somebody about this, we'll both get in trouble. You'll get in trouble and I'll get in big trouble. You have to intervene. You have to get out in front of that with your children and tell them that that's a lie. And they need to hear it from outside of their family unit too, because a lot of these children are preyed on right in their own family. So they need to be hearing it at school. And that's all. And that's just one aspect of this, you know what I mean? You have to destigmatize this, being a victim of it. You have to tell kids that it's okay to fucking tell an adult that's in authority if somebody is touching them in a bad way.
And screw this, oh, I'll just excuse my kid from sex ed shit.
No. And this is another thing. Education needs to be standardized to such a way that we can ensure that children are getting this. And not only getting this, but getting the basics that they need. Period. A lot of times the parents know but look the other way because they don't know what to do and don't want to look weak, so they ignore it. I mean, I know this stigma has to be broken, both with children and with parents.
There should be
You know
a social worker at every school.
Right. You know the whole dirty little secret principle? Yeah. That it's like that family dirty little secret, right? Where you've got a molester in the family, but nobody wants to talk about it, and nobody wants to blow their family up and have it be a big news story in their little town. And so everybody just kind of allows it, and it's just kind of known that there's one of these people lurking in the fucking family. That has to stop.
Or people that are so guilt-ridden that they'll even send their own kids to their father that abuse them.
Right. I mean, it just goes fucking on, dude. It's disgusting. And the fact that we're not even really addressing it as a society is even more fucking disgusting, to be frank with you.
Like this QAnon big global conspiracy dream.
It isn't. Like that's the thing, is like QAnon is like, oh, the world is run by this fucking pedophile cabal. It's like, no, it isn't. It's just out there publicly in a way that it's very easy for people to fucking see going on, and nobody's doing anything about it. We're not talking about changing the way that we do things to protect children from this. And we're not talking about changing the way we do things to protect the discourse on the internet, which is what we started talking about at first, which in my mind is almost equally as important as protecting children from online predation, protecting the discourse online. from intervention from bad faith actors, from intervention from people who would pretend to be one thing in order to push a false narrative, from intervention from people to break up a narrative or to spoil a narrative. This has to stop. If some dude walks up in the public square and starts saying, well, I know something that's counter to this, he's going to be asked to step up and give his evidence. He can't just be some shadowy figure over there making a comment and then slinking back into the alley and coming back dressed as a woman to agree with himself. You feel me? That's online discourse now. That's really what it is. Somebody pops out, right, and says something fucking stupid. And then instead of having to call to account, they show up as another 2 or 3 people to upvote themselves or go like, yeah, at least somebody's saying the truth. And it's one dude. And you look at that, and then some people are very mush-brained. They look at that and they go, maybe this narrative has some merit. Here's 4 or 5 people thinking outside of the window on this one. Maybe that's me too.
You gotta idiot-proof the internet.
It's a poisonous fucking place. And our discourse has been poisoned as a people.
Or people pretending to be other people to get your personal information and doxing it.
Right. It happens. See, with this 2 or 3 account solution, it wouldn't matter if kids had smartphones and iPads and shit at a certain age. You could hand your fucking toddler your smartphone and log it into their fucking account for them, and that's it. Or they do it themselves. You put it up to their little face, and it retina scans them, and bloop. Okay, now the phone is in child mode. Hand it to them.
And so it won't be connected to the parents' credit cards. They don't spend
Right.
$500 on...
There's no chance for that shit. There's no chance for the kid to buy something. It needs your fucking retina. Boop. You see what I mean? Then hand your kid. I don't give a fuck. Well, I actually do. I think it's bad. Like I've harped and harped and harped on the destructive nature of handing kids these devices and how in 20 years there's going to be a fucking, just like there is with television, there's going to be a major fucking peer-reviewed study or two showing that these devices are linked to autism, depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, etc. Because all of that shit is true of the fucking TV. All the fucking boomers that told my generation, your TV's gonna rot your brains, all these kids sitting in front of the TV all day gonna rot their brains. They were right. Paul, you don't get autism from TV. Take a look at screen-based autism and get back to me. Once again, there are peer-reviewed, double-blind studies going on right now, and they're calling it virtual autism or screen-based autism. And I want you to take a look at that and then get back to me.
Yeah, you could set like time limits on the Kindernet too.
Right.
You only have like 4 hours of screen time a day or something.
Right, exactly. On the Kindernet, you could totally have it set up to where the parent would have total control over how much time the kid got, and then it would just lock their fucking device for the day when they'd spent their 2 hours a day or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, this shit... Paul, my aunt works for a pharma company. She said they pay people to patrol online forums like Reddit to shift. Of course they do, because there's nothing stopping them from doing it. That's what I'm talking about, poisoning the discourse. What's the difference between autism and being socially awkward? A medical diagnosis.
It's like more
Next.
triggering events. Like the internet helps socialize what might be a high-functioning autistic person.
First of all, as far as I know, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, we don't understand fully what causes autism. We don't understand if it is more widespread now than it has been in the past, or whether or not we're just better at diagnosing it. We don't understand whether it is an existent subset of humanity or whether it's a mental disorder. At what level does it become a mental disorder? At what level on the autistic...
Definitely, like, more internet time definitely facilitates less coping mechanisms.
Well, that's the argument, and that's the silliness. It's like nobody is arguing that looking at a phone gives you autism.
But
It's the
definitely
social...
doesn't add
Right.
coping mechanisms.
When you're a child, your brain is creating all these neural pathways. You're like a little sponge for information. And think about it, before the internet, most of your time was spent watching your siblings, your parents, your friends at school, your friends' parents, your teachers. You're reading all these reactions, you're learning the body language of a person, right? Well, if a child spends a profound amount of time that normally would have been spent in socialization doing this, scroll, 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 they're not learning those things. So it's not the phone that is, it's not like the phone is transmitting autism into their brain. It's that the phone is providing an environment when they're in the developmental stages of their brain that puts them in a place where they're not interacting with real people.
You've seen it, like people that can't pick up on your sarcasm at all.
Oh my God, I got people in the fucking chat saying that's not what autism is at all. Dude, whatever. Go look at the fucking studies that are being done. Go look at the literature on fucking virtual autism / screen-based autism. Go take a look at the studies that are being done. You're just like those fucking people back in the day that were like, fuck you, TV don't hurt nothing. I watched a lot of TV when I was a kid and I turned out fine. And then now the studies are out on that shit, dipshit.
If you want evidence.
And I'm talking about the entire spectrum of autism. I'm not talking about just ASD. I'm talking about Asperger's, or what used to be Asperger's, and everything else on the spectrum, from high functioning to nonverbal and everything in between. I'm not talking about just one aspect or somebody that's slightly autistic and they got it from their phone. Jesus fucking Christ, bro.
It's like personality disorders, like they exist and they can be treated with certain coping mechanisms, but if you don't give coping mechanisms, then they just
Right.
This is debilitating as a mental illness.
When children are autistic, if it's caught early and they're put in the proper types of fucking therapy for it, they can live normal fucking lives where their autism isn't a limiting factor in their life. They can learn and unlearn the things that autism brings into their life, and they can function. There's a difference between an autistic person who was socialized properly and whose parents got them the therapy that they needed, and an autistic person who was just handed a fucking phone. Why can't you send a super chat? Good question. I had to switch over my AdSense account, and it takes a few days for that to happen. So no super chats for a while. They'll pop back up in a week or so.
How dumb Google is too.
Oh my fucking God, bro. So I had to, you know what? It's a boring story.
Yeah.
It really is. It's just good. Let me suffice it to say that Google is a piece of fucking shit. And can we just go there? We'll just take it there. I mean, it's kind of a boring story. Here, the nuts and bolts of it are, I needed to change over my AdSense account. Okay? I tried to unlink the AdSense account that's currently linked to Highdeology, and I kept getting this error. We looked into it with Google, and they said, oh, we're aware of the error. It'll be fixed soon. And then we got an email back from Google saying, oh, the error has been fixed. You can go ahead and unlink your account now. And I tried it again, and the same fucking error pops up. Well, then Scotty was fucking around with it, and check this, all right? Who owns Chrome? I'll let you guys answer this. Which company owns Chrome? Google. Who owns YouTube? Google, right? Guess how I had to fix this fucking issue? Guess how we figured out, well, Alphabet, which is a subsidiary of Google, or is Google's parent company. Right. Alphabet is Google's parent company. Right. Okay? The only browser that doesn't throw up the error and allows you access to your AdSense account on Google, on Google's website, it's Google AdSense, on Google YouTube, on Google Chrome, is Microsoft Edge. For some reason, when you do all the same things in Microsoft Edge, it works. What a fucking clown show, dude. What a fucking clown show. Go figure. Because, you know, the guys and I, we have to use Chrome for certain things on YouTube because certain, like, the back end of YouTube doesn't work well with, like, Opera, Vivaldi, Firefox, etc. And none of us use Edge. Like, not a single one of us uses it. Now, yeah, now I'm tempted to move my shit over to Edge. It's Microsoft's browser that replaced Internet Explorer, and apparently it's pretty fucking badass. Yeah, Netscape Navigator, dude. Bring that shit back. Or Web Crawler. That was the first browser that I remember using.
Do you want me to get you some flour, babe?
Sure, if you want. Yeah, just bring the little baggie and the grinder out here off of my desk. I have to use Edge for work. It's not bad, but it's annoying as fuck. Pretty much every browser is annoying, is what I've found, to be frank with you. But yeah, if you're using Edge and it's pretty good, let me know. Like, because I'm thinking about swapping. I'm thinking about just switching over to it. Because when I was in it, I noticed shit was loading faster, too. Like, I use Opera most days. That's the browser that I landed on a long time ago. And I'm used to, like, web pages loading. Not super slow, but, like, they'll load and then the pictures will pop in. And when I was on Edge, I was just like, blink, 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 blink. Everywhere I went, it was just like, bang, 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 bang. So, yeah. Opera's super slow. Yeah, it's. I think it's time for me to swap to something. I've been using Opera probably for a couple years now. And it's probably time for me to switch to another browser, I'm thinking. Just about time. I like the idea of a browser paying you some crypto for watching ads. Yeah, Brave. I don't know, man. Maybe I'll try it. But, oh my goodness, look at Dinor. He's got a cute little sweater on. It's got a penguin on it. Got your penguin sweater? He's so cute. He's too cute to boot. Dinor likes wearing, you know, he doesn't like being constrained to the so-called male power dynamic when it comes to color choice. He has flair, man.
False gender binary.
Yeah, he doesn't subscribe to the false gender binary when it comes to colors, just like Dad. I wear pink as well. I wear a lot of black these days, but I do have pink. I wear some pink. That's not Cricket's sweater. We put that sweater on Cricket sometimes as well because it fits him like a big old blanket. But that is Dinor's sweater originally that Cricket borrows. Cricket doesn't really have a sweater yet. We need to fix that. We need to find a sweater that Cricket will like.
That was the test sweater.
Yeah. And he stays in it for a little bit, and then he gets out of it. Oh. You only go purple? I have some purple too, but yeah, dude, I have a couple of little pink things that I wear, and I tell you, it's liberating, and it looks pretty cool on me too. I'm not gonna lie. I've got a couple of sweaters that have got some primary pink on them. I've got a baseball style shirt that's got some primary pink that I haven't worn in a while. I probably could wear now since I've lost a little weight. I got a little fat for that one, but I think that one will probably fit again.
You know, I bet that pipe would light way better with those matches.
Which pipe? This? No, the lighter is going to be the easiest way to do that. Our pipes, when we get them, our corncob pipes, those we'll light those with matches for sure. Got to grind up some legal tobacco here. Oh wait, I don't have to do that anymore. I'm going to grind up some marijuana and smoke it.
You gotta brag about that Keef too.
Oh my god, bro. I don't even know. I'll show you guys, bro. You guys want to see some shit? This is the difference between legal weed and illegal weed and I promise I won't turn this into 420 weed cast, but let me show you guys something right now. I'm gonna show you my keef chamber. Now keep in mind, I've been taking out of this keef chamber, but this is about 1/8 of a weed worth of keef in a legal weed state. You ready? That is fluffy, puffy, poofy, and damn near 1/8 of an inch thick off of 1/8 of weed. Oh, so beautiful. Tis so beautiful. That's what yours looks like. Hey, fellow legal state represent. I've got a second keef chamber too. I've got a 3-stage grinder here.
5-stage.
No, it's a 3. Well, oh yeah, it's a 5-stage. Yeah, 5-stage grinder. So here's my upper keef chamber. I'll show you guys that as well. Dun 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 dun. What's the purpose of keef? You smoke it. It's like all of the shit that gets you high, concentrated. It's all of the trichomes and little fucking, I don't even know what the rest of it's called. Trichromes and, yeah, trichomes. It's the ooey. Yeah, exactly. It's the good stuff. It's the good. You want that shit. You need that shit. You pack a bowl of that or mix a little of that in with a joint and it just ups the, you know what I mean? It's the good stuff. It's the extra good stuff. Oh yeah, it is. It is a little breezy today, isn't it? A little breezy today, isn't it? Yeah. Still cherried up. Have yourself a little toot. I was telling Amelia about pressed hash the other day and how I could make it. We gotta sing the song of our people for a minute. Hold on. Okay, all right. I'm all right. You okay?
Hey, don't eat the grass. No, that's Dad's grass, D.
We're singing the song of our people, dude.
Dinor was trying to have some grass too.
Is your tummy upset, or are you just a weirdo? Sometimes dogs will eat grass when their tummies are upset because it induces vomiting because their stomach can't.
I think he's just interested. He's obsessed about that little half-eaten mouse head out there.
Oh my god! And there's that other dog that I saw in here this morning. That's a neighbor dog that sneaks out of their yard, and I know he's pooping out here too. The little motherfucker. And Dinor's a poop eater. He's a poop munching dog, so I almost guarantee he's out here eating that too, aren't you?
Gross.
Great. Thank goodness you're all fucking vaccinated and shit. And dewormed and whatever the fuck else, you know. Paul, let me know if you want some pounds of hash. I have a brick press. Jesus Christ. No, thank you. That seems like a little much even for me. But good on you. Yeah, get a hold of Shabiscuits and gravy. He'll probably fucking like that shit. Man, I need to blow my nose. Fuck. I'm gonna go get some.
You're gonna just go in.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go in real quick and get some.
He can probably go in and get it too.
Wanna go inside? Come on, buddy. Got the sniffles. Ow. time.
Yeah.
They're shit.
I forgot they were even alive.
They're really not anymore. No, there was plenty of water in them. They outstayed their welcome. I'm gonna do this the smart way and have you do a boogie check for me when I'm done.
Yeah.
Before I show them, like I did yesterday. How am I?
You're fine. That's just hair.
Okay. Oh, bleh. That's love, yeah. Yeah, it is. Check for boogers for me, baby. Coke time. Get out of here, dude. Get out of here. Everybody wants to put, like, dude, if I did Coke, I'd tell you guys about it. I did a little bit of blow in my 20s, I'll admit. I tried it a couple of times, okay? I've talked about that, but it just, like, dude, I'm fucking 40. I smoke weed and I have a beer every once in a while. That's the extent of my drug use. Nothing wrong with a little yayo. Hey, I got no problem with people using, like I said, I've known people that had problems with cocaine, and I've known people that just used it recreationally and shit. So, you know, you take that on yourself. That's not my job to stand in front of you and the drug that you want to take, you know what I mean? Just do it smart, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's the thing, is like, whatever you choose to do, make sure you make an informed decision. D, if the smoke is in your eyeball, get out of the smoke. Dino's learning about fires. At first he was so scared he wouldn't come within like 20 feet of the fire barrel, and now he's learning he has to get out of the smoke. If you got smoke in your eyeball, don't roll your face on the ground.
Oh, you definitely need a bath today.
Yeah, he gonna need, like I said, a bath every couple of weeks out here. He a dirty boy. Oh God damn it, my fucking phone. All right, I heard you should chew coca leaves with chalk to create a less addictive drug. Well, that's how, like, cocaine started that way. So, like, I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna say the wrong group of people. Either the Olmec, Aztec, or Inca, or possibly all three, would chew coca leaves when they went on long journeys, and it would have like an effect like caffeine almost. You know, unrefined coca leaves and stuff is just like, you know, it would give you a little buzz. It would make you a little more energetic for the long voyage or whatever the fuck. Like, that's how it started. And then it was refined down to the point where it's this ultra fucking potent drug now. Oh, yeah, there used to be cocaine in, like, cough medicine and candy and all kinds of shit. There used to be laudanum used to be medicine here, and laudanum is basically just morphine mixed with water that you drink. Coca-Cola, right. Coca-Cola is called Coca-Cola because it was made from coca leaves. It used to have cocaine in it. Yeah. So they say that's how it felt. Well, there are people that are still doing it. Like I said, somebody in chat said it's still widespread in Peru for people to chew coca leaves. I mean, it grows indigenously there, so it's like, we don't have to rely on, you know, 18 fucking levels of hearsay from the Inca, all right? There are still coca leaves out there to chew, and the people that do it don't get coked up. Let's put it that way. Unless they're doing nothing but eating coca leaves all fucking day. You know what I mean? No, I did my drug experimentation and shit when I was in my younger years. I tried a few things. And, you know, as an older guy, I'm glad I got all that shit out of my system. Because really, you know, when it comes down to it, weed was pretty much the first illicit drug that I took. You know, I probably experimented a little with alcohol at an age that would be considered illicit, but, you know, the first illegal drug that I tried was weed, and here I am 40 years later, and I've yet to find one that I like better, you know? Like, it's just, okay. and I happen to live in a place where it's completely and utterly legal for me to consume this, both medically and fucking recreationally. So, yippee ki yay, you know. Le weed. I want to see Paul rate the beards and manes of his fans. Oh yeah, we can do that sometime. Maybe I'll have like a Discord thing where I give you guys a Discord link and I'll pull you into the room one by one. You got to cam up and show me your fucking beards and manes and shit. I can rate you. Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be cool. That would definitely have to be a verified 18 plus only situation though, because I don't want to get gaffled up in a fucking Onision situation where I'm rating like a fucking 16-year-old or some shit. Have to have somebody vet you. If the 3-account solution was in place, I wouldn't have to worry about it, but it's not. Dare made me want to do drugs when I was young. Dare didn't do shit for me. I was in school at the height of Dare. What was it? Drug abstinence resistance education, Dare. And it didn't make me want to do drugs. The people around me that were doing drugs made me want to do drugs. Drug abuse. Thank you. Dare is how Jamaicans say there, yeah. Right there, man. Down there, man. Right down there near the beach. Bomba clot, rum dance mara. Rude boys in the dance hall, man. Dare was a Ronald Reagan idea. Yeah, that fucking stupid jelly bean-addled moron. Wow. We had ourselves a passionate little run for the first part of this morning. I mean, I enjoyed that. That was good. It's good times. I like the 3-account solution, man. It gets me fired up. Gets me fired right the fuck up. And here is the ingredients for meth kids. There you go. There you go, buddy. Both the Democrats and the Republicans are just gigantic funnels of money that goes to some old rich guy. You're probably right about that. For Dare in my school, we watched that one special with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Looney Tunes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. I loved how they thought that, like, making our cartoon characters be like, weed isn't cool, man. Like, that was going to stop us. It's like, dude, they're cartoon. Like, see, that's the thing. Here's another fucking some shit that happened, and I got to tell you guys about you guys are going to think I'm a fucking boomer for this. But back when I was a kid, we were fans of those shows, but we knew that they were cartoons and shit. I think now you fucking millennials and Zoomers, like some of you, I'm not going to say all of you, some of you don't know that shit's a cartoon. Like, you treat it like it's a real thing. Like, these are real people that are talking and shit, and like real people that, like, you get way too into that shit. Like, we used to knew that, like, I knew when I was a fucking 8-year-old watching Ninja Turtles that the Ninja Turtles were cartoons. They didn't exist. Do I mean anime? Well, yeah, anime is definitely thrown in there. I mean, they definitely a part of this. But I'm talking, I'm talking just in general. The way you guys worship SpongeBob SquarePants into your 20s and shit is like a little disconcerting to me. Like, it's a little bit disconcerting to me, the way that, like, there's a bunch of fucking, like, 25, 26, 28, pushing 30-year-olds that are still like, SpongeBob, who lives in a pineapple under the sea, and I'm just like, when did this cultural shift happen? You know what I mean? Yeah, SpongeBob. Yeah, so is Ren and Stimpy. So are the Looney Tunes. You know, and I can still go back and watch like a Ren and Stimpy and enjoy it, but I don't like it's still not a big part of my life. And for a lot of you fucks, like you're still living in a pineapple under a sea from a cartoon that you watched when you were 8 and you're fucking pushing 30. And it's like, huh? You know, I fucking trust me, I loved the Ninja Turtles. You guys gotta understand. The Ninja Turtles was my shit. I thought that I was Leonardo. I wanted to be Leonardo. He was the leader guy with the 2 katanas, the blue headband. My friend John Buckles, he was fucking Raphael. We had our shit. We picked it. We became it. Then we grew up. All of my little childhood friends loved the Ninja Turtles. But I'd be goddamned if we were in our 20s sitting around getting drunk going like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh man, I'm so fucking toe up. What would Raphael do right now, man? Oh man, get past the mutagen. Just getting past the drink. Oh man, wouldn't it be fucking crazy if Shredder fucking busted in here? Like, what would you guys do if the Foot Clan busted in here right now, bro? It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Let it go. Let it go. Move on to some shit. Oh, God, man. Holy fuck. Cowabunga, dude. Gnarly. Cowabunga. All right, guys. See you next time. Cowabunga, bro. It's like... Whee! What's going on, man? Doesn't every generation get drunk and nostalgic? Well, yeah, but like, we're not talking about drunk and nostalgic. I'm talking about the fact that like some of y'all can't have a fucking 20-minute conversation without invoking SpongeBob SquarePants or like Fairly Odd Parents or whatever the fuck it was you watched when you were a child. You meme with it. It's still relevant to you. You still fucking talk about it. You're probably members of a group of fucking other adults that talk about it. It's like, huh? Not many do this? Get out of here, bitch. My Little Pony, yeah. Well, that's a different thing. That's like whole ass adult men that like started watching a kid's show. That's a whole different fucking ball of wax, bro. But yes. Nobody does that. Bullshit. Bullshit, dude. Bull fucking shit. Bullshit. Let me lean in for this one. Bullshit. Dude, there are people out there that take it so much farther than that. There are people out there that are in whole ass fucking fantasy relationships with cartoons. Whole ass fantasy relationships with cartoons. I wonder if Paul hates cosplayers. Nah. See, for me, that's like dipping in and having fun once in a while is not what I'm talking about. And for me, that's like, you know, what most cosplayers are. People like, they like a character. They go to a con that's about video games or anime or whatever, and they dress up as a kid. Like that, that's not what I'm talking about. Like, you guys are fucking, you know what I mean? You're reading too much into it. Yeah, I'm talking about like the hardcore fandoms where there are whole like 25 plus year old people whose lives are still informed really, really heavily by a cartoon that they watched when they were children. Excuse me. Animation enthusiasm has become really popular in online communities. I personally don't see anything wrong with this. I don't either. Like, look, I'm talking about a very maybe you guys are getting you're getting like flustered because you think I'm talking about a group of people that I'm not talking about. Okay, number one, anime has adult themes, obviously adult interest, right? So I'm not necessarily talking about a person who's just into anime, okay? I said cartoons. And when I say cartoons, I kind of consider that to be separate from anime. Anime is technically, I guess, a cartoon, but it's a cartoon with adult themes. It's like, well, some of it has adult themes. Obviously, there's animes for kids and shit, too. You feel me? There's like a line, right? There are people, like I used to be real harsh on weebs, and then I lived with one for a long time. And, you know, while I'm not a weeb myself, and I still think it's fun to make fun of weebs, like I kind of understand them a little better now, right? You know, it takes knowing somebody really well that fits that bill. And, you know, her life was not defined by anime. She didn't live her whole life in an anime fantasy. She just liked it aesthetically, and she liked watching it in her fucking free time, and she liked cosplaying and going to the cons every once in a while when she could make it, and she liked buying little merch from it and decorating her room with it and shit, and like that type of shit. What do I how do I hate that? How's that any different from me being all into Alien and Hellraiser and buying the puzzle box and buying the fucking this, that, and other things, you know, the movie posters and shit, right? That's different. So if you're getting offended by what I'm saying because you think I'm talking about you because you're a grown adult that likes anime or something, set that aside and know that I'm not talking about you. I am talking about a subset of people, and like I said, it's not a lot of people, but it's enough people that there's a lot of them that cross your path who are running around still really like, somebody said the word earlier, and I think it's a good word in the chat. I can't remember what the context was, but they said infantilized, and that's what I'm talking about. It's like those types of cartoons were not made for adults. I'm not saying that I, as an adult, can't go back and watch an episode or two of old Ninja Turtles and enjoy it for the nostalgia factor, but I don't, you know what I mean? I've moved on past the Ninja Turtles. And there are people out there that haven't moved on past the Ninja Turtles. Right. They haven't moved on past Sonic the Hedgehog or whatever it is, and they've just kind of latched on to something that's very childish in a way that's not just for nostalgia's sake. It's like in an unhealthy way, you know? That shit, it wasn't as visible, though, to me as a kid, honestly, because I didn't have access to the internet. If I did, there would have probably been a bunch of people that were, you know, the same way. But, you know, the internet kind of puts that under a microscope. So maybe I'm being uncharitable to you. I've come full circle. I'm being uncharitable to your generation, probably. It probably did exist when I was a kid, just not, you know, I just had my circle to judge from. My world wasn't as wide as yours was. This happens with books, yeah, of course. Harry Potter, etc. Economic instability probably makes people embrace nostalgia more. I would imagine so, yeah. I don't know, overgeneralizing, yeah, probably. Well, yeah, of course, most people aren't like that, of course. But there's a very visible group of people nowadays, if you're active in any online communities and shit, that seem to be very, very, very much obsessed with things from their childhood. And it's certainly not new. I don't think that it was invented with your generation. So I was being uncharitable in that way. There were probably tons and tons of people who were still all fucking like Scooby-Doo fanatics or whatever in their fucking 40s and shit when I was a kid. We all need distraction. And yeah, really, what's the difference anyway? I was being judgmental and harsh. There's really no point in shitting on people who are into some shit. Who cares? I just get tired of hearing it. That's really where the salt comes from. As I get tired of being exposed to it myself constantly, and it being something that's against my personal sensibilities. Like for me personally, I wouldn't go back and define myself for, yeah, but what's really wrong with it? Nothing. Other than the fact that it annoys me, but that doesn't, there's a lot of things that annoy me that I think are fine for people to engage in and do. So I was just being a little bit salty. But see, I came to it in my own way. In my own way, I had to go through the salt. And then I had to come to the realization that there's really no reason to be salty about this, Paul Zico. You're being very judgmental. I'm tired of the SpongeBob along with Rick and Morty memes. I mean, me too, but I mean, what are you going to do? That's just meme culture in general. That didn't exist when I was a kid, or if it did, it was different. I mean, meme culture really did exist when I was a kid, but memes were just passed differently. Like, we had localized meme culture that would spread kind of like maybe regionally when people moved to a different town that was adjacent or whatever. But we had like shit. Like, I've talked to people about like a word that I used when I was a kid that was like it was a regional meme. Maybe like a Central California meme or whatever. We used to say moded. And moded was like if you got roasted. Roasted is a direct fucking synonym to moded. And moded was spelled M-O-D-E-D. It was like moded. Like I have no idea where it came from. But it was pre-internet shit. And that had to be a meme, right? And we had a whole song around it. We had a whole song around it, dude. I can remember it to this day. Do you guys want to hear the moded song? It's fucking dope. Like, okay, so if you were just moded, you would just be like, moded. Ooh, moded. If you really got moded hard, you would say, moded, corroded, your butt exploded, it overloaded, it was chocolate cover coated, and your mom came and licked it up, so there. That was the whole song. Moded, corroded, your butt exploded, it overloaded, it was chocolate cover coated, and your dog came and licked it up, so there. It could be dog, mom, dad, brother, whatever. That was a meme. But I've never heard any other, like when I ask people about that from my generation that weren't raised in the area that I was raised in, I've yet to run into anybody that is like, oh yeah, moded. Is moded on the Urban Dictionary? Really? I've never looked it up. But I imagine it would be. If it was like a regional California meme, then it would be. Moded. Moded, corroded. Dude, you just got moded. That's what we used to say. Like somebody would say something like a sick burn, what we now call a sick burn or a roast or a toast, you know? Somebody would toast somebody out in public and you'd be like, oh, dude, you just got moded so fucking hard. Or you would be telling your friends. You know, you'd be like, oh my God, fucking Sean got moded so fucking hard in class the other day. Oh shit, dude. Maybe it comes from the word demoted. I don't know, dude. Like I said, the etymology of it, I don't know what it was. I just know that like at some point I learned it. I learned it in school. It didn't come from my parents. It was definitely something that was amongst the kids. Because I don't remember like adults saying it when I was a kid. So it was definitely something that I learned in school. I don't remember when I learned it, but it's like you knew what it meant. You know what I mean? When somebody said they got moded or they moded you or whatever, you knew what it meant. We spelled it mode, M-O-D-E-D, moded. That's how we spelled it. Like when we were writing our notes and shit, it was always moded. You know what I mean? But that didn't last into high school. That didn't even last into middle school, to be honest with you. That was like an elementary school meme. Was moded. And then it died. And we used to call it, you know what it changed to in middle school? Cappin'. This is some boomer shit, man. I'm taking you guys down the boomer meme rabbit hole. Cappin'. So capping or snap. So if you got capped on, like, or I was capping on him, that means I was roasting him. Capping means lying. Really? We used to say, "Oh, I was capping on him." Like, or oh yeah, you just got capped on or snapped. Capping is a thing. It means lying now. Yeah, that's weird. I swear to God, guys, dude, that was at least regionally in my little school, moded became capping and snapping, right? In the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And then after that, it became, I'm trying to think what it was in high school, because I don't remember capping being the thing. Oh, in high school it was busting. So you were busting on somebody. Or clowning. So it was busted and clowning in high school. You got clowned on. I'm just clowning on you. Oh, he clowned on you, dude. Oh, you got clowned on. Or you got busted on. I'm busting on you. That's what it was in high school here. Like regionally where I grew up. Roasted didn't come out like a roast was old. Like, see, you guys don't understand. Roast is old memes. So, like, roast is what our parents used to say because go look up the Dean Martin roast. See, that's where roast comes from. There used to be a thing that Dean Martin, one of the Rat Pack, and a bunch of old celebrities from the day, they would do roasts. Where it's like they would all get together and there would be a guest of honor. And usually it was like their birthday or for some special occasion, they were retiring or whatever it is. But it's like all their friends would get together, all their celebrity friends would get together and roast that celebrity. And you can look it up on YouTube. You can find some of them. They're actually really funny if you watch them. But they were called the Dean Martin roast. And so my parents said roasted. So roasted has come back around. Roasted was not cool when I was a kid because our parents would say, "Oh, you got roasted." Pwned, yeah. Pwned is like, I was in my 20s by the time pwned came around and became a thing. And that was totally internet shit. It's because the O and the P are close together on the fucking keyboard and people would mistype pwned instead of owned when they were laughing or whatever the fuck. And that's the etymology of that little meme, which is kind of cute. Punked. Yeah, I mean, punked came around after I was already out of that. Like, I was already out of the teenage range, so I wasn't really making memes anymore at that point. I never really said anybody got punked. Served. I remember you got served, yeah. Dunked on, yeah. I remember it being used, but colloquially, it was not real popular where I was from. Like I said, fucking clowned and busted on. That's what we said, like, in high school. And clown stuck around for a long time amongst my group of friends. Like, I'll still say it when I'm talking to, like, my old high school buddies and shit. Bagged, yeah. I remember bagged on being used. Dogged on, not really. That one was old. Like, once again, I remember my parents using that one, getting dogged on. Don't dog me, that my parents would say. Yeah, don't dog me out, or you got dogged on, or he was dogging this guy, or hounding this guy. Yeah. That was old shit. That was like boomer shit. People that were born in the 50s shit. Running a train? Well, that means something else. I mean, I guess it can be used contextually if a bunch of people are ganging up and moding one guy. You know what I mean? But running a train has a whole different meaning where I grew up. Dabbed on, yeah, dabbed. That's totally like that. That was not back in my day. That's some new shit. People only said served ironically after that. Yeah. You've been served. You just got, yeah, that movie, You Got Served. Yeah. Yeah, that one never really caught on. Yeah, You Got Played. That one wasn't really, that one, I don't remember it being used when I was a teenager. And if it was used for a very particular reason. Like being played was something that happened to you with a significant other. Like if the only time I remember it being played being used was you would tell your friend like, "Hey, that chick is playing you, dude. I saw her with so and so, or I heard she was talking to so and so, or she's been all fucking all over so and so. That chick is playing you, man. You're getting played." Played out, yeah. That was around when I was a kid, but that was exactly what you said. Like if something fell out of the mainstream, but if you got played back when I was a kid, it was like your significant other was fucking around on you or doing something. Yeah. I saw her holding hands with David, dude. You're getting played, man. She's playing you. A roast by peers is considered an honor. Yeah. Well, that comes from the Dean Martin roast because that's what it was. It was all of their peers and friends from the industry, all the quick-witted fucking assholes, and they'd get these funny people to come and say horrible things about this person, but it was all out of love. You know what I mean? That's where that was established. Like a roast by your peers is an honor. Getting roasted is a good thing if it's done in a good-natured way. It's kind of like what the guys and I do to each other on the show a lot. You know, we roast each other, but obviously we like each other. We work together, you know what I mean? So it's all out of love. We shit on TJ a lot, but we shit on, that's another thing too that was around back in the day. And I probably use that one more now than ever. Ball busting, that must have been like an East Coast thing because we didn't say ball busting back on the West Coast. Probably knew what it meant. Like if you said busting your balls or something, I probably heard it in a movie, but joshin was like another boomer one. My mom would say, "I'm just joshing you." But that just meant like, oh, I'm memeing on you basically. Oh, it's just a meme. I'm just joking. I'm just playing with you. Yeah, my mom says that still to this day. She'll say, "I'm just joshing." Because I think Joshua told a lie in the Bible, didn't he? Am I wrong about that? I think that's the etymology of that. Didn't Joshua tell a lie or some shit in the Bible and God fucking punished him or some shit? Joshin is Yiddish? Really? Oh, okay. Paul, please tell me there was a time back in the day when you said "gag me with a spoon" unironically. Nah, that was Val shit. We used to call them Vals, but like that was Valley Girl. Valley Girl was the full. Like people that talk like that were ruthlessly made fun of. There were a couple of people in my high school that would say that had that like Val shit going on. We called them Vals back in California. But they were like, "Oh my fucking God, you're so fucking gross. No way. Gag me with a spoon. Ew, gross. Gnarly. Those people were mercilessly made fun of in my group of friends. Nobody I fucking spent any time with talked like that, dude, ever. My sisters went through a phase because that was really big in the 80s. So my sisters went through a phase where they were talking like that, but all little girls talked like that in the 80s, a little bit. That accent was just like, I have attitude. But trust me, in the 90s, there were a few lingering vowels, and they were mercilessly made fun of. So the group of losers didn't like the popular kids. How shocking. Have you listened to my high school stories, dude? I didn't hang out with a group of losers. I was a popular kid in high school. I'm sorry to tell you. I went to a high school where it was considered cool for the football players to be in the fucking plays and shit. I was a glee kid in a performing arts high school. The cool kids in my high school. Why do you think I did a bunch of drugs and shit in high school? If I was hanging out with losers. Sorry, bro. I was a popular kid in high school. Like I went to parties and stuff. The losers didn't get to go to parties and stuff. Like I got invited to parties and stuff. I played music at parties and stuff in my garage band. Mountain Man Paul, you kind of suck, dude. I'm just saying, like, if I was a total fucking, like, I just wasn't. I didn't have that experience. I wasn't like a total recluse and shit. I wasn't a total fucking, like, I knew people that were, and I'm not trying to shit on people that were, but I didn't have that fucking experience. I was a popular kid in school. I didn't play an instrument. I sang in the band. My friend Morgan Cox played guitar. My friend Rodney Burge played second guitar and or bass. All three of us did vocals, and then when we could get him, my friend Nick Parsons would play the drums. But moving a drum kit around as kids was kind of hard, and Nick was also a dude that didn't hang around with us as much, so he was harder to get a hold of. But yeah, Nick Parsons on the drums when we could get him. He was too talented for us. I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to brag about it, but that was not my fucking experience. I was in some nerdy shit. Like, I was in chamber choir. I was in the drama club. You said the glee club. We didn't call it the glee club. I was in chamber choir, and I was in drama. And it wasn't, we didn't call it the club. I was in fucking drama. And our school was one of the top schools in California. You can go look it up. The 3 years that we participated in Amador that I was there, we won all 3 years. I was involved in that shit. We were fucking, like, it was not considered uncool to be part of that fucking club. But like I said, the football players and cheerleaders and shit wanted to be in our shows, and often were, as background folk. And I partied with the football players and cheerleaders and shit, so. Unfortunately. The whole school was nothing but social rejects. Well, isn't that true of any other school? Like, when other schools would come to our school for football games, we would make fun of them, you know? You have to understand, like, cool is local before the internet. Before social media, cool was local. Dude, I was lucky. I just happened to land in a school. My teacher, you can look her up. She still well, don't, actually. Never mind. I'm not going to say her name. But I want to share her name because she's a fucking god-tier person. I've said her first name before. That's probably enough. But she's one of my mentors, man. If not for her, I'd be a different fucking person. She was like a mom away from mom. I wasn't a Chad in high school. Like, listen, I'm not claiming that I slayed puss all day, every day in high school. I've told you guys, I chased one chick that wasn't giving it up throughout all of high school. I was a little fat kid, so I was made fun of to a certain extent. I just went to parties and stuff. You know, I was accepted because I was funny, and I could sing cool songs and shit, and I could smoke a lot of weed. Yeah, dude, finger bang 2 cheerleaders while doing a keg stand. I love you, Jenny. You're the only one for me. Paul, when did you get your bad back? I've almost always had it. So when I was a kid, when I got into like 7th or 8th grade, I started to have back problems. Where it was like I would throw my back out, or I'd get this sore back or whatever. And it was like pretty mild back then, I remember, but I remember it being like something that would come around every once in a while. And it just progressively got worse as I got older. And then when I started working, it really got bad. And then, you know, finally I went to the doctor with it, was diagnosed with the scoliosis. Well, actually, I was diagnosed with minor scoliosis when I was real little. But it just, you know, it got worse, worse, worse. Do you twist your back to pop it? I twist. Dude, I do tons of shit. I'm actually really good at cracking my back. It's one of the things I do to relieve it. So I twist sometimes. It just depends on how fucked up the muscles are surrounding it. If shit is too tight, sometimes it's just not going to pop. But I've got a foam roller that I use. Yeah, I did factory work for a while. I did hand stacking at Madera Glass in Madera, California. And, well, I guess I've done some more factory work than that. I worked the line at CRA in Madera, California, Container Recycling Alliance. That's technically factory work. Drove forklift for them as well. So, yeah, I've done factory work. I've done my fair share. snow days are no longer a thing thanks to Zoom. Those poor souls, I know. No more foggy days. See, I never had snow where I grew up, but we had foggy day schedule because there would be days where it was just fucking foggy that you couldn't see 2 feet in front of your face and the buses couldn't run, so they just called a school day, and you'd be like, oh, hell yeah. Foggy day. Zoom, it's over. Sorry I've been boomering you guys so much lately. I've been reflecting a lot about my childhood and my upbringing and how different it is to what I see and how similar. I think it's something that you do around my age, really, you know, and I think that kind of comes out because I know I'm talking to a younger audience or whatever. But it's interesting to me, at the very least, to kind of catalog the way things have changed and the things that have remained the same, because there are some constants, of course. I mean, I'm not claiming to have been raised on some fucking alien planet, but my childhood was just different, you know, than a lot of people experience now. A lot of things, and the same in a lot of ways. I've been told that, like, yeah, people still go out with their friends and stuff a lot, and an assumption of mine is that there are a lot more kids that don't now, and I think I'm right about that, but to say that there's not kids still riding their bikes around the neighborhood and shit, I mean, I see them, not here, but, you know, I used to live in a fucking apartment complex, and I saw kids running around riding their little bikes and their scooters and playing around outside and shit. So I just, I get the feeling that there are a lot more kids that are doing less of that in favor of more online type of shit. Man, I wish I had some more coffee. I don't think there's any more. You know what I need, though? I do need a drink. So I'll go get some water. I got a little cotton mouth going on. I don't know where that came from. Got just a little tad of cotton mouth here. Need to get myself a drink. I'll take you guys through the other's house. Doors beyond doors, beyond doors, beyond doors. Hello, Dinor. How are you, my little fuzzy friend? Dad is here to get himself a drink.
You got a bath, so don't throw him out.
Oh, we got a bath? Oh, yeah. He ain't coming out. Thank you for bathing him, baby.
Oh, I tried to get him as dry as I could.
Yeah, no, I didn't look at him. He looks dry as fuck now. I would have let him out. So thanks for letting me know.
Got a bath? Can I smell you? Come here, let me see.
Lots of oatmeal spray.
Oh my goodness, you smell so good and pretty. You smell so good and so pretty.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be dry soon, but not quite a second.
Yeah.
Let me get a little bit of the skin dry.
Smells so pretty, Dinor.
All right, we got a drink. I don't know. Let me look at my battery real quick and see what's happening. What's plugged to? So let me go grab that. Oh, okay. You sure, baby? Okay. And she's gonna bring me my plug. I gotta move things around out here so I can plug in. Get out. Nope, you can't go out right now, Dinor. You're too wet. You gotta dry. Sorry. He looks at me like, huh? But Dad, I wanna go out. It's like, sorry, buddy. Sorry, buddy boy. All right, I'll set my drink over here. Bada bing. Oh, I gotta close this. Other's house. You never leave two doors open at the same time. Okay, what else do I need over there? I guess I'll bring this, and then some cigs. And we're good. Huh?
Are you just moving in, or are you getting closer?
I'm just getting closer to the plug. So I can sit over here. Ooh, ooh, get that, and that. I'll get my smokes, and I guess the ashtray. Okay.
Hold up, why am I plugging it into mine?
I don't know. Probably because you're high. High will do that to you. Okay, let me check this. Here we go.
Business.
I'm in business. Plugged in, we're charging. Everything's a gravy train with biscuit wheels, honey. Dynor's in there wimping. I'm sorry, buddy. Be quiet. You can't come out. I'm sorry. You got to go lay down. He's in there like, please let me out so I can roll in the dirt. It's like, that's the whole point, dude. You just got a bath because you roll in the dirt. You should get a rocking chair. I have one. I'm actually sitting in a different kind of lounge chair now that kicks back a little bit, but I have a rocking chair. I just didn't want to move it from next to the fire because that's where I sit next to the fire. I'll show it to you guys. Yeah, I saw it. An ember must have hit it, or I must have dropped a joint on it or something. It is what it is. There's my, well, hold on. Can you guys, can they see my rocking chair from here? There's my rocking chair right there. Built by Biker Dave in Louisiana. Hand built. So yeah, that's my little rocker there. No shirt is complete with fewer than 3 cigarette holes. It's not shirt. It's not my shirt. It's my shoe. Look, I have a pair of house shoes, well, indoor, outdoor house shoes that I wear here on the porch. And look at that. Da 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 da. Whoops. Oh well. Oh well, dude. The life of a stoner, man. What are you gonna do? Shit happens, you know. It looks like a coat from the Civil War. It's a pea coat. It's a navy pea coat, and it's really fucking warm and really comfortable. And I like it a lot. I wear it when it's real cold out here. Dinor, be quiet. Go lay down. It's okay. You don't have to. You stay out here if you want. He's got to learn. Don't quit having separation anxiety. We're right here, and it's going to be like 5 minutes before you see one of us. Be quiet. Go lay down. Dinor. You monster.
I even gave him 3 treats during the bath.
Yeah, he got 3 treats during the bath. He got a nice little bath, and he can't go lay down for a minute. Or go play with his brother, which he loves doing. Can't go find cricket and entertain himself for 5 minutes. He's got to be right here. You're going to have to get used to it, too, because his little ass getting too adventurous to come out here at night until we get some floodlights.
Or reflective vests.
Yeah, or like, yeah, a vest with some LEDs on it or some shit, because he's starting to go way out onto the property, and at night, we're just like, How about no, Dinor? How about no?
You got a matching leg hole, too.
Do I? Well, that's, yeah. Oh, yeah, check this out, dude. Holy shit. On my fucking pants. Maybe it happened in the same incident. Da 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 on my sweats right there. Do you guys think this was the same stoner incident or separate stoner incidents? Started on pants, flicked to shoes. Who knows, man? Who knows? Saw a dude running at night with neon collars around his dog and a neon light vest. The future is neat. Yeah, we need to get one of those for Dino or faux show. Get him a big old neon vest that just lights up with LEDs, big pink flashing LEDs that we can hit a button and turns on. And makes a noise too, like, I'm over here. That would be great. That's what we need. Would you ever visit the last frontier? What's the last frontier, Paul Atreides? Space? The final frontier. I mean, yeah, I'd visit. Like, if it became, like, commercially available to go into space and orbit the planet for a day or something in a nice little space hotel, and it was within, you know, fucking reasonable means, I'd do it. I just don't think that's going to happen in my lifetime. I think that it's going to be reserved because, like, already I'm pretty sure you can buy your way onto a flight, right? Like, if you're really rich and you really want to go to space.
They're getting through the last of their, like, human trials or whatever.
Yeah.
Human trials for travel.
Dude, who knows?
But yeah, it's gonna be like $1 million a pop or some shit.
Yeah, just out of everybody's price range. Mad dogging, dude. Yeah, dude, mad dogging. Watch any good movies lately? Yeah, the last one we watched was Legend, right? Amelia hadn't seen Legend before. The early 80s Ridley Scott classic with Tom Cruise and what's his name? What's his name? Fucking...
Oh, yeah, the dude that his career just kind of...
Well, yeah, because he's sick. He played Pennywise and he played fucking...
Oh.
Yeah. What's his fucking name? Tim Curry, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, chat. Stoner moment.
I thought you were talking about the elf dude.
No, the elf dude. No, he's not a big.
He should have been.
He should have been. He was really fucking talented, but no, Legend is great. It's such a great film, and definitely a movie I'll be doing a review on. I already started a little outline of a review on it. So yeah, cool flick. Virgin is actually planning to put a hotel up there with artificial gravity using a giant centrifuge in the next 5 years. You're going to need Bezos money. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I might live to see such a thing exist, but for it to be, like, available to me, probably not. Yeah, Tim Curry had a big stroke, yeah. Shitty, but true. Dude, Tim Curry, he brought that energy to everything, though. Like, Home Alone 2 is kind of a bad movie, pretty much, but he was standout in that movie as the evil fucking concierge or whatever he was. He just... Excuse me. Like, the It miniseries, where he played Pennywise. Nobody would remember that fondly at all if he wasn't in it. In Legend, even though he has precious little screen time as Darkness in Legend, he's probably the most memorable thing about that film. He's just, you know what I mean? Fucking Rocky Horror. He was the central fucking focus of that film, and for good reason. He's great in The Wild Thornberrys. Exactly. He's great in everything they put him in. He always brought that energy. He always brought that fucking love to everything that he did. And he's great, man. He's like Anthony Hopkins in my mind, you know? He exists in that same spot. I didn't know Tim Curry until I watched Criminal Minds. He's an incredible actor, even in a tiny role. Yeah, he was a supporting actor usually, and he always brought it. He always brought it in the supporting role. He was always just such a generous actor and such a great presence on screen. Unafraid, completely unafraid as a performer to take any kind of role that they gave him. I mean, for him to do the Frankenfurter role at such an early point in his career, at a time when being gay got you nailed to a post sometimes out in the middle of nowhere, at a time where being a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania would get you beaten up in a lot of places, or attempted murdered, or scorned, or ostracized in this country. Like, for him to take that role at such an early part of his career and do it so unabashedly and so memorably. Just unbelievable, you know? Unbelievable bravery as a performer. Where do you upload movie reviews? I'm working on revivifying, is that a word? Reviving the Cinema for Cynics channel. And so I'm writing a stock of reviews. We're in the process of looking for an editor for that channel. Revitalizing, there you go. And so I'm in the process of it. I have no promises on when you're going to see the first one, but I'm in the process of writing a stable of scripts for it, and then getting those performed vocally, and then sending that off to an editor so that I can start stocking that channel up again and moving forward with it. I do stream games on occasion. Revivify is a word, yes, but I don't think it was the word. It might mean what I needed it to mean, too. It might have been a perfect choice, but I was just making sure. You're basically saved by the bell. It's all right, 'cause I'm saved by the bell. I don't think I could do white boy dreads, Phoebe. All I can think of is, when I think of white boy dreads, is Vanilla Ice with his white boy dreads flopping in his face saying, roll him up, roll up the hootie mac, roll it up, roll it up, roll up. And I can't get that out of my head, and I just don't think. Now, I saw a dude one time, I worked with a dude at the school district back when I lived in California, and he had long dreads, though. He had like real committed dreads that it like went all the way down his back and shit. He looked good with them. He didn't look like he was rolling up the hootie mac. But I just don't know if I can commit to that long of a dread. You know what I mean? But dude had really, really long white guy dreads, and it didn't look like he was rolling up the hootie mac. You know what I mean? But I think if I got this hair dreaded, I would look like I'm rolling up the hootie mac, and I can't hang with that, dude. I can't roll up the hootie mac. Yeah, see, hysterical. I don't want to look hysterical. Any more hysterical than I already look. I already look like Hagrid. Let's not make it Hagrid rolling up the hootie mac. You know what I mean? Maybe if I become like a SoundCloud rapper or something, I'll roll up the hootie mac. You know what I mean? Like if I become a SoundCloud rapper, I might get some face tats and roll up the hootie mac. You know what I mean? But at this point, I just can't do it, dude. Ice is cringe. Only to people who don't have it. Yeah, my wrist so cold and my eyes so frozen. It's all for you. Yeah, yeah. Paul, how do you think social distancing will impact the psyche of young people after the pandemic? I have no fucking clue, dude. I can't imagine it's going to be good. I know a lot of people have said that their little kids are just desperate to be around their friends again, and I feel so bad for little kids who are having to live through that. And I can't imagine it's a good thing, you know, depending on how long it has to go on and how much of this shit, it's definitely going to have some kind of an effect on them. I mean, it's nice that we live in an era where they can at least call their friends on Zoom or whatever, or TikTok or whatever it is, and at least stay in touch with one another and shit. But like the fact that they can't get together and hug each other and hang out and fucking go here or go there or go on little vacations with each other's families and shit, all that shit's on pause, and it sucks. I feel bad for my nephew. It makes me want to cry. He's so anxious. Yeah, like I've heard a lot of stories like that, unfortunately. Well, some of them still do, yeah, but there are a lot of little kids whose parents are rightfully so taking this shit seriously. And, yeah, you know, for their protection and the protection of others, but at the other end of it is a little kid who can't go do that shit anymore, you know. I mean... I'd be lying to you. I'm a way more reclusive person, but I'd be lying to you if I told you that I don't miss like being closer to a place where I have like friends and shit, you know, because where I'm at now, I don't know anybody. You know, it's me and Amelia against the world. And I'm not really in a place where I could go out and make friends either. I can't go to these kind of local community functions. They don't really do those anymore during the pandemic, you know. So I'm in kind of a place where it's like I don't know anybody. I have the perfect place for it too. I've got this big porch back here, so if I lived in a place where I had a few friends, they could come over, be socially distant and totally safe. Just keep their masks around their necks and just pull them up when they got to get close or whatever. But I've totally got a porch that would allow for more than enough social distancing if everybody's careful for me to have a couple friends over and shit. It's just I don't know anybody here, you know, and I kind of miss that. I got a lot of that interaction back when the show was in person because in addition to being my business partners, both Scotty and TJ are my friends. And so that was one of the cool things about it is I got a little bit of socialization face to face, and then we got to do the show together. And now, you know, I really like it's Amelia and I, like I said, versus the world. You know, we really don't have anybody here. So, but whatever, it is what it is. You know, you live, you learn. I was going out with my friends during the beginning of the pandemic. Some stuff went down and I'm not friends with them anymore. I like being alone and safe, so it's win-win. Hey, whatever. You know, there's a lot of people that have said that the pandemic has like led to life changes for them, whether it's something like you're talking about where they had friends that weren't really friends or whatever, or even down to the like whole live-in relationship microcosm. There have been people that said that like, hey, this lockdown thing really showed me who I was living with. And we broke up as a result, and it was a good thing for both of us because we were kind of lost in the fog of all the work we were doing, and then all of a sudden neither one of us could work, and we really saw each other, you know. I've read a lot of that type of shit. So, hey, you know, whatever. I know it's been good for a lot of people who would consider themselves more introverted types. So... Sometimes I feel down because I don't meet people. Then I meet people and I go, oh, okay, I hate this way more than I hate being alone. Right. He pisses me off and I still like him. So, well, yeah, I mean, you're not going to ever live with somebody who doesn't piss you off every once in a fucking blue moon. Now, you want to keep that to a minimum. Like, I don't think Amelia and I piss each other off all that often. I can't remember the last time I was actually full-blown pissed at her. And, you know, I don't know what she would say the last time she was pissed at me is. So we have a very non-volatile relationship, which is good. That it's one of the things that I like about the relationship that I'm in now, is I've been in a lot of relationships where, well, nothing but relationships where, and I trust me, I contributed. I'm not trying to blame this on people I've been with in the past that were just volatile. A lot of argument, a lot of yelling, a lot of disagreement on fundamental shit, a lot of like not mixing well in terms of expectations, and that's all the way back to my fucking teen years and shit. And, you know, finding somebody who is willing to meet you that halfway and find that middle ground is something that I really cherish in the relationship that I'm in now, because I have that in Amelia. She has her own interests and her own wants and needs for her life, but they happen to coincide with mine, and mine happen to coincide with hers in a way that works really well. And we're both very adult with one another. We don't fight. Like, that's just not, there's no point in that. We release that emotional energy by talking to one another, frankly and openly, about how we feel about shit, which is like, like we check in. For me, it's a weird fucking thing, but it's a healthy thing to do in relationships. You know what I mean? You don't let these little things build up into these little fucking annoyances that turn into big giant things. We check in all the fucking time. We have talks all the fucking time about how we're doing, how we're feeling, what's going on, this, that, the other thing. We don't let things fucking fester and shit. Some people do need to just have roast sessions to get that out, but I gotta tell you, dude, I'll be fucking open with you guys about this shit. I was raised in that environment where it's just like people just angry name calling shit with my parents, between my parents and me. I used to get in fucking straight out fucking knockdown drag out fights with my mom, not physical, but just like yelling, oh, fuck you, fuck you. Like that was normalized in my household. My parents were even worse when they were together. Oh my fucking God. That's where we learned it from, you know? They would just fucking like, it wasn't all the time, but when they went at it, everybody knew. And it was just fucking vicious. And so what did I do? You know what I mean? As a person, I went out and I repeated that pattern a bunch of times. I got with people who I was really attracted to on an elemental level, and all of that worked, but at the end of the day, there was personality conflict because we were two bulls in a China shop, you know what I mean? It's like one of those is enough. One of those is too much. Two bulls in a China shop. You can't have that shit. You know what I mean? You can't do it. And so all of these relationships that I was in were typified by these horrible disagreements and horrible fights and all of this bottling up of fucking emotion. So it just explosively comes out. And harsh things are said, you know, harsh. I seriously thought people just got angry and said stuff they didn't mean. My husband and I would get into scream matches. Who could say the more fucked up shit, find out today. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, no, dude, no. It doesn't have to be. Like, I'm so sick of that in my life because it doesn't feel good. Like, that's the thing, is it's supposed to be like, whoa, we release all this energy. But all of those hurtful things that you say to that other person, they stick. And all of the hurtful things that that other person says to you, they stick and they build up over time, and it just hurts. It sucks to have somebody that you trust and live with having said some shit like that to you. You know what I mean? And having said some shit like that to them too. I'm not exempting myself. I get in that mode and I'll just say some nasty fucking disgusting shit to a person that I don't mean. I'm just trying to be hurtful, and it works. And I've been with other people, you know, either they started or I started, but that's what it becomes. It's just like, who can be more fucking nasty to the other person? I don't do that anymore. You know, I don't. I won't. And I can't even imagine Amelia living in a situation like that. She's not made that way. And so it's like, okay, this is what I need. You know, I need somebody that compliments me, that takes that energy and helps me redirect it, that checks in with me regularly to make sure I'm not bottling shit up, and that doesn't bottle shit up themselves. Someone direct, someone that was willing, and this is really what sets her apart. And I think the fucking, like, this brings it full circle to what we were talking about. Amelia and I's relationship happened during the pandemic. Lockdown happened just months after we started living with one another. And for her, if I try and look at it through her eyes, and I don't want to put words in her mouth, but for her, it was a crash course in living with me and all of my idiosyncrasies. And I try to be open with her about that shit because I haven't in the past, and I know it's caused problems, but that doesn't help. Me just telling her, like, hey, in the morning, sometimes I'm a prickly fucking pear. And I'm mean and I'm angry and I don't mean to be. And she, instead of taking that and trying to change that, she just adapted to it. She gives me my space in the morning, and she knows how to bring me out of it too. She like this morning. What the fuck was it? Maybe it wasn't this morning. Maybe it was a morning before. I was just in a shit mood out here, and she told me something, and it just totally fucking brightened up my day. And all of a sudden I was, and that funk doesn't last usually for me all day, but I get in this salty mood, you know, and it was like she took that, and instead of going like, I'm gonna change Paul, she just accepts it about me. It's like, okay, Fair enough. And as a result, we don't get into fights. We don't get into arguments because I don't feel this pressure from her to be something that I'm not. I don't feel like she's taking things out of context in the morning. She knows I'm a salty fuck. And I work really hard not to be salty at her, so I've never really called her a name or anything that I can think of. She can correct me if I'm wrong, and would if she was sitting out here, but I don't think I've ever called her any kind of name, and I don't think she's ever called me any kind of name, unless we were joking with one another. You know what I mean? But, like, not out of anger. I don't do that shit. I don't want that shit. Like, you guys have to understand, it's a very conscious choice in my life to keep that kind of relationship far from me. And if there was a fucking hint of that in this relationship, it would have ended immediately. It just doesn't happen, you know, with me. We don't do that. And that's so nice. I can't tell you how fucking nice that is. If it's love, they love your flaws too. Well, sure. And that's something I had to learn too, you know. Being with her has made me a more tolerant person as well. And it's given me a new perspective, not just on relationships, but on, like, the way the world is. Like, I shit you not, she taught me to appreciate the things that are around me, like the little natural things. Little animals that live around. And it's something I used to be into when I was a kid. But I gotten into this mode where I didn't even notice that shit. It was just background noise in my life. And now I'm all tuned into it again. And it's because of her. Like, she came into my life and she didn't try it. It was just she noticed that stuff and started pointing it out to me. And I was like, oh my God, yeah. There it is. You know, this cardinal family that lived back there. It was just ambient from her. Her love of animals radiated back to me and reminded me, like, how much beauty there is out here. And that's why I'm sitting out here on my phone instead of in my comfy fucking chair inside, because I really like talking to you guys with all this nature here. I like that everywhere I turn my eyes, I can see a beautiful fucking tree or an animal or a bird or a patch of woods. You know what I mean? I wasn't like that before. I had forgotten that for a long time in my life, you know, because I wasn't around people that really appreciated those things. Or she just radiated it ambiently to me, her appreciation of that stuff. She would just point it out to me. Oh, look. And I did, and I was like, oh my fucking God, what have I been missing? And my life has been enriched by it too. Like, I'm so much happier just for that little change in my perception. It's all good shit. I'm glad that you moved houses, moved states, and changed cars, but you still do these outdoorsy streams with us in conversation with you in nature. Well, for sure. I mean, I did them outside. I'm talking about what I noticed. I used to do them outside just because it was comfy for me to sit outside when the weather was nice and shit. And I was away from other people, you know what I mean? And so the outdoorsy streams, I'm not saying those are new. I'm just saying I have a new appreciation for doing them now. It's less a convenience thing and more like I choose to be out here. It's cold as fuck in here. I could be way warmer inside, sitting in my way more comfortable fucking pregnant lady chair that I have in there doing this stream for you guys. But I choose to do it this way because I think I feel better when I'm amongst this, especially at this time of day. When the weather is real nice and crisp like this, I feel like really good. And I want you guys to see that, you know? I think my performance, or at least what performance this is, which it isn't much of one, to be quite frank with you. There are things I keep from you guys, and there are little elements of this that I would say are performative, but Highdeology has always been just like, if you were sitting over in that chair over there, that lonesome chair, or any of these, you'd be having the same conversation with me, give or take, you know. I'm assuming I have a, yeah, I got, it's not roaring right now, but I could throw some fucking, yeah, I had one earlier until it wasn't really super needed. But yes, fire going and all that shit. Do you like any anime? Not really. I like some animes. I've seen some that I enjoyed. Like I like the old Akira from back in the day. I like some of the Miyazaki films. I like Princess Mononoke, and I like Howl's Moving Castle. Although it's been a long time since I've seen those. I actually think I haven't seen Howl's, to be honest with you. I've just seen parts of it. But I've seen Princess Mononoke way back in the day. I think my favorite of the Miyazaki films is Spirited Away, so I like that. I watched Madoka and really enjoyed that, and I watched Kill la Kill and really enjoyed that. So that's those are my animes, okay? Those are my animes. That's pretty much all of the anime that I've seen and enjoyed enough to finish and liked. And I think Spirited Away and the Miyazaki films, a lot of people would say, those aren't animes. Okay, well, then take the ones that I said that are animes, and that's it. Don't give me fucking anime recommendations. Don't start. I just told you I'm not really into it, okay? I find them as they find me. I'm not going to find it through you, trust me. Your love of whatever this or that. I didn't really like Death Note all that much. I watched it. It was okay. It just wasn't all that memorable to me. It just wasn't, I don't know. No, not shitting on people who are into it or whatever. But I didn't watch, I did watch Death Note. It just wasn't my fucking thing. Yeah, just don't do it. Don't make me Order 66 it. The vibe is good. There's no need for the Order 66 shit to happen today, but I will do it. Don't be giving me, just because I talked anime for a second. Listen to what I said before I started talking anime. I don't really like anime. But here are a few that I have liked. I don't want to hear it. Because I'm not going to get a new anime from you in the chat. If you really feel strongly about it, DM me on Twitter. That's what I've been telling people. And it seems to be working, too. People are DMing me.
I need to fix the broken DM from before, where it filtered out like half the messages.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking about you.
I saw.
Oh, you overheard? Oh, you were watching?
Would you interrupt?
Oh, I was gonna say, like, well, you should. I wanted you to come out here so you could correct me if I'm wrong about any of it.
No, I didn't want to interrupt.
Well, you don't
I have
interrupt.
nothing to correct.
Well, that's good. I'm
See how far
glad.
you go with it.
Yeah, well, whatever. I'm not giving people like specifics, but in generalities, that's what makes you different. That's why I love you so much, and that's all the truth too. Like it's so I feel different as a person because I look around at nature now and notice it in a way that I just kind of like, meh.
That armadillo family.
Yeah, the Dillos and Chad.
Yeah.
We got one last visit from them, like 2 or 3 days before we left. The Dillos came back, right? The little hummingbird.
Yeah.
All the little butterflies. You're like a spotter, man. We had that hawk the other day.
Yeah.
Land right over here. Crazy.
Dope.
Oh, MedsPeds has a video? You haven't recorded a video in a hot minute, Peds, so I'll check that out, and you should too. When you're done watching this, go to the MedsPeds channel, check out her new video. I guess she's got a new video, first one in, she says, over a year. Go check it out. I like Meds. She wouldn't have a wrench. I've actually met MedsPeds, although it was an unfortunate fucking meeting because we met for MedsPeds to possibly be part of Dank D&D, and then Dank D&D became kind of an impossibility in the form that we had considered it. So, but it was still nice meeting her. We had lunch. Where did we eat MedsPeds? We had Mexican, I think. I think I took you to George's. The food wasn't great. I didn't know George's had gone to shit. Because I remember the food wasn't great, but the conversation was cool. Oh, the Peds. The mettest of Peds. But yeah, go check it out. Go check out the MedsPeds latest video. Whoa, it's windy. Went to Redostas in Nolans. Good recommendation. Smart person. I swear to God, man. You ever are in the New Orleans area and you want an actual po' boy, the old school fucking traditional French roll, meat gravy, dressed po' boy, you go to Redostas. Because I tell you what, dude, I ate a ton of fucking po' boys in and around the New Orleans area. And that place, dude, I'll shill that place till the end of my days. One of the best sandwiches I've ever eaten in my life. And that's saying something. I'm a lover of the sandwich. I'm a sandwich lover. That place will not disappoint. You get a roast beef po' boy dressed. You get the fries. You can get the fries with gravy or without. You get
Or
just
you can get the fried po' boy.
yeah, or you can get the fried po' boy. They have a French fry po' boy if that's your thing. But I would say you want the fucking true experience. You get the roast beef po' boy dressed, and you get a side of fries, and you pick whatever drink you want at Redostas, and you sit down and you eat that motherfucker, and you tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, you can get a fried shrimp po' boy if that's your fucking... I've gotten that there too. I'm telling you, the one that I liked the best was the roast beef po' boy. I got all three of their main variety of po' boys there. I also ate their...
You ate the French fry one right before the
Yeah.
meetup.
Right before the New Orleans DFF meetup, I had the French fry po' boy at Redostas. And it was dope. But I at the end of it, I could not help but wish that I had gotten the roast beef po'
I
boy.
think you took a bite out of mine.
I did take a bite out of
You told
yours,
me to
yeah.
get the roast beef.
Like we traded a couple of bites, and I was jelly. And I got the fried shrimp there one time. I don't know. I went probably like 6 times or 7 times to Redostas. I would say 7. And out of that 7 times, I'd say 5 of those times I got what it was the roast beef. Yeah, the muffaletta. I had the muffaletta there as well, and that was really good. But I'm not a huge fan of the muffaletta, to be honest with you. It was a good muffaletta. It was edible, but I don't like the...
Almost like a calzone feel in some ways.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know. There's something about the muffaletta. It wasn't my favorite sandwich. I know it's a big thing. And when you get a really well-made one, it's totally dope. But it's not something that I'd order a bunch of times. I was really, like, enamored of the po' boy and just the shrimp down there in general. Like, that's really what I appreciated most about that area of the world's cuisine. And that breeze sounds so cool through those trees. I love that sound. Almost sounds like the ocean.
Yeah. I know I'll probably be fine after the stream is over, but you still have some wet spots on them.
Yeah, no, he'll be fine.
Someone
He'll
was
chill out in
someone
there.
was
And
like, free dino.
yeah, hashtag free Dinor. He'll be freed. Don't worry about Dinor. He ain't suffering. He just got him a bath. Have you ever slept through a shift at work? Yes. Well, okay, not all the way through. But when I was working at Starbucks one time, this happened to me one fucking time, and it felt so fucking bad, dude. Oh my God, it never happened again. But I was an opener at Starbucks. And I was in my early 20s. So you guys, I've told you guys I partied a lot in my early 20s. And what had happened was I'd opened that day and come right home and gone to sleep. And then I woke up and then I partied into the wee hours and went to bed at like fucking like 2 or 3 in the morning. And I was supposed to be up at like 4 to be at work at 5 to open the store. I woke up at 7 a.m. And the sinking feeling, I can't even describe it, dude. It was just like, oh my fucking God, bro. And so I jumped up and I got dressed, didn't even shower, didn't brush my teeth or anything, threw on my fucking dirty ass fucking work clothes, grabbed an apron, fucking booked it to my car, fucking. At this time, I lived in an apartment complex that was right near Dobson and Chandler Boulevard in Chandler, Arizona. I worked at the Dobson and Chandler Starbucks, which I believe is still there last time I checked. But it was not a drive-through at the time. I don't believe it is now either. It's a standing store only. One of the last few remaining, as I understand it. Starbucks doesn't build those anymore, so if they didn't exist before Starbucks made its edict of drive-throughs only, then you know it's an old Starbucks. But anyway, I digress. I fucking jetted over there, got there as quick as I could, ran in the door with and I just looked at the fucking person that was standing there, and I was like, and they just shook their head at me, and I went back, and my fucking manager, the store manager, was there, and I was just like, I am so sorry. And he was like, what happened? You know what I mean? And I just had to tell him. I didn't fucking sugarcoat it. I was like, I stayed up way too late. I went home after work yesterday and I slept, and it threw my sleep off, and I just slept through my alarm, and I'm so fucking sorry. And he was like, all right. He's like, it's cool. Just don't let it happen. Are you ready to work? And I said, yeah. And he said, so I can go home? I said, yeah. And he said, all right. And he went home, and that shit never fucking happened to me again as long as I lived at Starbucks. Happened, I think, one other time where I was real late for work, but it wasn't due to sleeping in. At the school district, but I was always real punctual when it came to work. If I was late, there was an excuse, you know. Like I've had my car break down and shit. Like, yeah, that happens to everybody. You can't be at work if your fucking car breaks down halfway there or whatever. That shit has happened to me in my work history, but that's the unexcusable because of my own fuck up lateness. Like I try not to do that. Like I don't like that feeling, you know what I mean? It sucks to be on the other side of that too. When I was an opener at Starbucks, I remember I showed up one day. This is before I was an MOD, so I was just a grunt, just a barista. And I showed up one day, and it's like 4:45, right? I'm sitting I usually try to show up like 15 minutes early, and I'd sit there in my car and listen to the radio and blast the heater and smoke a couple cigs. So I was doing that. 4:45, 4:50, 4:55. Usually, like, your MOD's there by 4:55. They're unlocking the door and shit, and you're getting out. So I was like, huh. And this was when I first started, too. So I was pretty new. So I only had 2 numbers. I had my manager's number, and I had the district manager's number. When 5 o'clock rolled around, I knew we were due to open at 5:30. I was like, okay, what do I do? So 5:05, I started calling. I called my manager, ring, ring, ring. I can't remember what his name was. This is so-and-so, leave a message. And I was like, fuck. One last number. So I straight up called the DM. And this was like, I swear to God, like my first week of work, maybe my second week of work.
Yeah, you're like, oh, God.
So I called the DM. And I got the fucking ring, ring, ring. Hello. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. My name is Paul. I work at the Dobson and Chandler Starbucks. My MOD isn't here. I'm on my way. Click. And like fucking 10 minutes later, sure enough, his ass was there with a key. Let me in. He said, do you know how to open the store? I said, yeah, they trained me. He said, go do your thing. So I went and did my thing, and he did the manager thing, got on the horn and got somebody over there and left and said thank you. And that was one of the only times I ever saw that fucking dude.
Yeah, because I think we need to take those 9/11 posters down. It was just their manager.
Well, I was a manager, and it was the DM it was a different DM. That was in California. This was when I first started in Arizona, so whole different. How do you feel about the line from bosses, coworkers? You always have an excuse, as if excuses in and of themselves are bad. Okay, so I've been on both sides of this, and let me tell you guys something, okay? An excusable absence is an excusable absence. There's no fucking denying it. You cannot control when your car breaks down. You cannot control when you're fucking violently ill. You cannot control when you're contagious. You cannot control that a family member dies. Right. You think of an excusable absence in your head, they exist. Okay, but I've also been people's bosses for a long time before. And there are people that take advantage of the excusable absence over and over again. And the reasons, right, exactly. The reasons become excuses. Okay? All of the sudden, You've excused this absence and that absence because it was a totally good story, and then you get another totally good story, and then you get another totally good story, and you're all like, okay. Nobody's fucking car breaks down 4 times in a week. Nobody has their grandma die and then gets sick and then has a really bad period and then has their car break down in the same fucking week, throwing off my whole fucking business in the process. So to a certain extent, to be a worker, and we're talking capitalism here, so I don't think it should be this way, but to be a worker, I've gone to work when I didn't feel like it. I busted my fucking ass to get to work after my car broke down, and I tried and I'm telling you, I wasn't special. I lived in shitty places. I made the same shit that everybody else at work there made. So it's at a certain point, your excuses are your own. You know what I mean? Like, and that's from somebody that's been on both sides of the fucking aisle, dude. I was a grunt. I worked under people, and then I was over people for a while. I was still under people, obviously. I wasn't Howard Schultz. I wasn't the fucking CEO of Starbucks, right? But I was the boss of my store. And for a long time before that, the boss of my shift every time I was on shift. So it's like, at a certain point,
Someone mentioned Target. It's like the mega corporations, they're less concerned about time off. Like if there's like 100 employees, they're there.
well, that's the thing is like, it depends on the size of business that you're working at too. So at a Target, one person not showing up is less of a deal than one person not showing up for a 2-man opening crew at a Starbucks. So for me, excuses were very different. If one person didn't show up on a shift at Starbucks, it meant the other 2 people that were on shift for that whole shift were fucked. And it means the next shift that comes in is fucked because that third person who's there to clean and do prep and make ready for the next wave that comes in isn't there. So then the afternoon shift comes in to relieve the openers, and the store is filthy. Nothing is stocked. Nothing is started. None of the prep is started. And we have to go, sorry, so-and-so fucking called in and nobody would come in. And if that's happening day to day to day at your store is dysfunctional and you've got a problem and you need to fire some people and find some people that want to work. That's all there is to it. Sorry. I mean, that's capitalism 101 right there, dude. And I'm sorry to say it. I've been a boss, and if you're going to work in fucking a capitalist place, you need to know that shit. Yes, if your grandma dies, you take off work. And I'm not going to be an asshole about it. But if your grandma dies, and then in the same week your car breaks down, and then...
Your grandma dies, and then your grandpa...
Right. And then 2 weeks later, you're fucking sick. And then 3 weeks after that, it's 2 more times. You're going to get a talk from me about your fucking attendance and shit and how you're fucking over everybody on your shift. And if your attendance doesn't improve after that, you're going to be fired. So it is not on you that your car broke down. It is on you to go get it fixed so it doesn't break down again. Starbucks, unfortunately, doesn't offer a car package. So if you need a car to get to work, your car breaking down works once. And then you work it out. You take the bus. You get it fixed. You borrow somebody's car. You ride share with somebody to work. I used to do that shit. There was a time where my dad had given me some car. And at the time it was bought, it was some luxury fucking thing, but it was a piece of shit. It had been driven to shit. And he had bought it, didn't want it anymore. I'd had a car breakdown. He'd given me some car. That car fucking shit out on me. And I was ass out. Didn't have a ride. So my first thing to do, I didn't miss a day of work because of it. My first thing to do was to call all the people I knew at the store. Hey, can you swing by and pick me up? Then I found somebody that I didn't know lived within like my neighborhood, basically, like right down the street from me. And I said, hey, while I'm getting this car figured out, can I carpool with you? No problem. Because we always opened together. So it worked out. It was perfect. It was like serendipity. So I told my manager about what was going on. I said, it's going to be about a week till I have a car. This person can give me a ride. Can you schedule me with this? No problem, blah, 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 blah. Everything was gravy train. I've done that for other people. I've been asked, hey, my car fucking situation is fucked up. Can you take 3 or 4 or 5 blocks away from your normal route, get up a little earlier and come pick me up? Yes. You work it out, bro. That's all there is to it. You work it out. You help each other out. You get to work on time. You don't fuck everybody else on the next shift, because it's not just your manager that's getting fucked. It's not just the company and the customer that's getting fucked when the store's dirty and being run fucking crazy because it's short hands. It's everybody else that works at the store that comes in later that gets fucked. It throws off the whole day. Then the mid crew comes in and they've got all the morning crew shit to do and their shit to do. So half of that shit doesn't get done. Then the night crew, you see what I mean? Shit rolls downhill. So you're responsible and you're answerable to the people you work with and for. I've intentionally avoided managerial roles, but I routinely find myself in a crew leader position acting as a go-between, so I'm not unaware of the administrative side of things. Yeah. See, I didn't necessarily avoid it. I just never sought it out. I was asked. So I was a barista and happy as a fucking clam. And then my manager pulled me aside on my break one time and said, take some time with me. Take an extra break. I was like, okay. Pulled me aside and was like, I want you to be a shift lead. Are you interested? And I was like, not really. Like, what does that mean? Well, he told me blah, 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 blah. And I think it was like an extra $1 an hour or something. And I was like, I got to be honest, I'm real happy where I'm at. I don't like the idea of being people's bosses. He's like, yeah, but you'd be good at it. And I think you'd be able to, like, you know, and you'd help the store, is how he sold it to me. And I was like, I'll try it. And he said, that's how we ended up doing it. He was like, let's try it. I'll train you. If you hate it, you have a job as a barista and I'll train somebody else. I don't think you're going to hate it, though. And he was right. I didn't. I actually liked it. I enjoyed it. Like, I was good at it. He was right. He saw whatever it was in me that made me a good leader. And
Probably that initial call to the fucking DM probably helped.
that probably played a role.
It's like if you were a newbie, a lot of newbies were like, "This manager's not here. Peace out."
Well, I put those names in my phone the first day that I was given them. And I had a shitty little fucking cell phone and shit at the time. But, no, I had those fucking numbers on me. For sure.
But yeah, like a lot of people in your position with your tenure would be like, "Oh, manager's not here. I'm just gonna go home."
No. No, I felt responsible for that shit. I was like, there's going to be people showing up, and I don't want to be like, sorry all day. I got to call somebody, you know. But that was probably part of it, but more of it was probably, because it was months after that. For months and months, I'd probably say like 6 months, I was just barista dude. And my manager pulled me aside and said, okay, you know, I want to give you this. And I didn't want it, but he talked me into it, and I took it, and I really liked it. I was really good at it. But I always kept it low. Like, I never took the step all the way up to full store manager because I didn't want that. Wasn't enough of a leap in fucking pay for me to justify the extra bullshit. Because like I said, the store manager's the person that closed the store last night and has to be there because the MOD didn't show up, or the key holder forgot his key or lost his key or whatever. That's on you. And then it's on the DM. And then it's hell's to pay. Somebody's getting fired. So I never wanted that. I got up to the ASM level and I was acting store manager, but I was an assistant store manager for a brief point, and then I was acting store manager at a store for a while that was between managers. And that's as high as I ever wanted to go. I didn't want to be like responsible for the whole works. I'm allergic to responsibility. I'm allergic to over-responsibility, but I like a certain amount of responsibility. It helps drive me. Weren't they? Yeah, they were salary level, and it was a whole different fucking ball of wax, and I didn't want to do it. Oh, yeah, dude, that's why I didn't want to do it, Meds. You're absolutely fucking right. It's because, like, it was a step up from my normal 35 to 40-hour week that was paying all my bills to guaranteed 45 plus, and some weeks of 60-hour work weeks. Well, I'm moving from hourly to salary, and because I'd been with the company so long, I was making so much more than anybody else on I was almost, they couldn't offer me enough. I'd been with the company at that point when they were trying to court me for fucking store manager really hard. Since 2000, well, almost 2000, yeah, my hire date was January 1st, the year 2000.
Yeah, because 2001, 9/11.
Right. They started courting me hard in like 2006. And by that time, I'd not only moved states, which Starbucks had at least a really progressive policy about never reducing pay. If you travel from one place to the other, you don't take a pay cut. You keep making whatever you were making. So that had kicked in. I was making more in Arizona than I would have been here in California, but I kept that plus my pay increases for that first 5 years, which accelerated as Starbucks got bigger. Plus all my stock, all that shit moved with me. And so I was making more than anybody in the store that wasn't the manager. And the step up that they were offering me wasn't worth 20 hours a week. Period. So yeah, that's, I don't know, like, maybe it's boring for some people to listen to somebody talk about the problems of work and shit, but for me, it's really interesting because I lived my life that way for a long time, and, there's a lot of interesting, like, tactics that you have to use if you want to be successful at that, because there's a lot of people that just get kicked from job to job to job to job, and you know what I'm talking about. You worked at fucking Amazon for how many years? 3?
3, yeah.
That's a job
their
that...
average turnover rate was like most people would leave within 2 months.
Right, so you worked at a place with a turnover rate average of 2 months for 3 years, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, I know he isn't actually letting on, and I think he knows that too. It's tongue-in-cheek. Letting on what? What's going on?
It's Phoebe's shit.
What's going on?
She just said, like, here in California. I quote you saying, here in California.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Starbucks in California.
That's
exists.
Right, I worked in California, yeah. And if I ever lose my fucking job as an internet entertainer, I'll work at a Starbucks here in Wyoming. I'm sorry, here on the moon.
Here in Kansas.
Here in Kansas.
Here in Michigan.
Dude, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, though. I don't know. Maybe we are. The one Starbucks in Wyoming, yeah. It's crazy at Amazon I work at. My shift is almost always understaffed because it's overnight. Yeah. I thought you lived in Antarctica. Well, yeah, I do. But anyway, yeah. You have to be a good, like, for me, there's a drive in me to be good at whatever my job is, to, like, really be on time for it and to bring whatever it is that's expected of me. And when I underperform that,
easier for yourself as a result.
Sure. Well, yeah, once you like, because here's the thing. If you're reliable, people call you a lot to cover shifts. If you cover shifts, you make more money. If you make more money, you have more shit. And you can work all that into your life, especially in your 20s when you got nothing but fucking piss, vinegar, young, dumb, full of cum energy. You know what I mean? And so you weave that into your life and you just work extra hard and you make hella extra money. And then your bosses notice you and all of a sudden you're making extra money for that. It's like Starbucks had a coffee master program when I was there that's been folded in now to their barista training. But I was like a black apron coffee master. That included an increase in pay and a change in my job duties there that I was only offered because I was the most badass fucking dude that worked there. I was the only dude that never called off. I was the only dude that showed up, rain or shine, sick or not. I was the only dude that wasn't late. I was the only dude that fucking took shifts whenever. You know what I mean? And because of that, I got offered the fucking plum. There was only one of those positions per store. And it was Kush.
And I remember at Amazon, I was in the top 10 for like 3 months straight. They were like trying to get me to train.
Right. Top 10 at your fulfillment center, and they were trying to recruit you as a trainer for other people because you just knew how to bust your ass. I was the same way.
I didn't want any of that because there was like, group of 12 every 2 days.
Nah, fuck that. Not for Amazon. Hell to the fuck no. No, thank you. When you say Kush in that context, do you mean cushy or Kush? Cushy. not like the weed Kush. But I guess both work.
Yeah, you can get some push with your extra overtime money.
Howdy there, Zonster. Glad to see you taking a little break from work to get news from the bunker. I'm sorry to tell you that there's not much news other than a train going by and a nice crisp mountain breeze blowing in the air and a dog that's angry because we gave him a bath and he's wet and he can't be out here. So, but other than that, you're up to date on the bunker news. How's work going today, if you don't mind me asking? Without revealing too much, just, normal day, shitty day. How's it going? What's the work day shaping up to look like? Thought that was a plane. You must be really close to the tracks. I'm about, what would you say, like a half mile from the tracks, give or take?
Yeah, maybe 3/4.
Yeah, 3/4 of a mile from the tracks. So yeah, I'm just in a big kind of forested, wide open space. So it's loud, but not that loud. I grew up around a train, so it doesn't bother me at all. But yeah, it's a train. Tis train.
No, don't want God videos.
Just finished a white paper that my director was pleased with, apparently. So good so far, thanks. Oh, good to hear. Good to hear, good to hear, good to hear, my friend. Glad it's a good day. It's always good when your hard work is rewarded, even if it's with just like, hey, good job. That always feels good. That means the vibe is good. And the vibe is good for me today as well.
It was kind of made me remind, like the worst part of corporate culture is like the pizza party. Like, oh, the store did really well. Let's not give you bonuses. A pizza party.
Right.
That's this 10-cent piece of pizza.
Yep. I just hate when that good vibe is used to exploit you. Well, I mean, you have to kind of be open to that, though. Like, your vibe is your own to maintain. That's another fucking hard one lesson. Like, if something is harshing your mellow, as we would say back in the 90s, then it's your job to get away from whatever is harshing your mellow, dude. If something is harshing your vibe, you walk away. You distance yourself from it, no matter what that may be. You find a little time to yourself, and you control your vibe. What's the worst job you've had? I always answer that the time I spent with CRA. When I was working for CRA, I was standing on the line of garbage, picking metal and big pieces of trash out of it so that they could refine it down to glass that could be used for cullet to be taken to the glass plant in the little town I grew up in. So that's the worst. I saw the grossest shit, dirty diapers, dirty tampons, dirty fucking, because here's the thing. The loads of trash, and I call it trash because that's what it was. This was in the early days of recycling in California, right? Right. Well, not only did people not know what to do, but they didn't care. There was no enforcement of it. And so we got these big loads of trash from the Bay Area. And so we would find needles, like fucking hypodermic needles, fucking condoms, tampons, dirty ass diapers, and it would all go by, and it was my job with big fucking heavy gloves. Oh yeah, food and shit, and really the thing I was looking for was metal and ceramic, because all that other shit honestly gets burned off in the cullet process. So it's like, I had to grab the fucking diaper too if I saw it, but my real job was looking for metal and ceramic, because that fucks up the glass. If that makes its way through the cullet process and in the glass, you get what's called stones in the glass. So you have a bottle that's weak. If you fill it, it's going to explode because it's got a weak spot because there's a little stone of ceramic that didn't burn, or a little stone of metal that didn't burn.
I think that happens to me once with the Pyrex.
It's happened.
Like the plate just...
Yeah, it happens. Flaws in glass, I know a lot more about it than most people do, and I know how they happen. And 99% of the time, if you have a bottle that explodes, it's either a mold problem. So the mold at the glass plant where that bottle was made has a defect in it, and the people aren't fucking taking care of their mold. Or, even more common, is a stone in the glass. And they can be tiny. You don't even see them. It's like a little speck.
Like even major companies, like I said, Pyrex.
Right.
Pyrex plate did the same thing.
So part of the glass plant's job is after the things are made, there were well, back in the day, I don't know how they do it now, but back in the day, there were whole lines of people, usually women. It was just a segregated type of job that sat the line, and it was their job to look through magnifying glasses there was lights underneath the bottles, and the bottles would spin in front of them, and they were looking for tiny little specks of black in the clear glass, or tiny little specks of brown in the green glass. And when they found one, they kicked it. And it was their job. They were the last line of resort. Because if one of those went to the factory, they'd start filling it, and that flaw would blow fucking wine all over somebody. They had contingencies at the wine filling plant for that, but they didn't want a certain percentage of your wear was flawed, and it had to be low.
That's what I'm saying. It happened to any glass company.
Right. And so that was how it worked back when my parents worked there. There's machines I know now that look for flaws in the glass and kick the bottles automatically, but there are still people, as far as I know, that sit the line as the last line.
Yeah.
But now there are like lasers that go and they find the
trash.
Right.
It's probably still cool because
Right. So, but yeah, that's the worst job I ever worked. I was the bottom rung on that. So the first line of defense against fucking metal and ceramic and glass was me, and I had to sift through fucking every disgusting thing you can think of. There was also some cool shit would go by, whole ass action figures, and I'd be like creeping on the come up. I'd put that in my pocket. I had like this little jar that I kept next to me, and when I found cool shit like a ring.
yeah.
I was like, is this costume jewelry or real gold? I'm going to put that in there. Creeping on the come up. I just, whatever. I'm not giving that to the company. The company wants me to throw it away. Fuck them. Like, every dude that stood the line had a little jar. You know what I mean? When we saw some shit, we'd compare notes at the end of the day before we went home. Like, on final break, we'd be like, what'd you guys find? I found a ring. How long did I have to work? 10-hour shifts at that job.
I'd honestly, I'm the kind of person that would prefer that over what your job was at Starbucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not good with, people management or.
Oh, yeah, I mean, for sure. Yeah, it was definitely not a job where you had to socialize much, that's for sure, unless you can socialize with filthy diapers and bent hypodermic needles and shit that you hoped didn't come through the 2-layer gloves you were wearing. There was a guy that worked next to me, and his name was Jesus. He spoke very broken English, and I spoke very broken Spanish, but we could still communicate, you know what I mean? And he told me that he got jabbed one time working the job by a hypodermic, and they took him and got him the test, but then he basically relayed to me that he won't know for a long time if he actually has it, because the test...
Oh, yeah, that was back in,
right.
the late 80s, early 90s, right?
It was in the 2000s, but it's still like AIDS doesn't show up immediately on the test if you get jabbed with a dirty needle. You don't pop positive for AIDS until your blood...
Now they have PEP.
Yeah, they didn't have PEP back then. Yeah. So the test was good, but only if you had AIDS or HIV, which led to AIDS. And it took a while for HIV to spread throughout the system to where it would show up on the test.
So now they got PrEP and PEP.
But anyway, he told me that. He told me he got jabbed, so I was real careful when I saw those fucking needles. I'd grab them by the, plunger end and throw them. We had double-layer gloves.
Yeah.
So...
But still, it's
fucked. So, yeah, I can't think of a job that I worked. There was another job that I worked for a container recycling company, but it wasn't as bad. It was down the chain from that, where it was cullet, and I was just...
Would you really say, though, that it was that call center that was the worst?
The call center did suck fucking ass, but I got laid off so quick that I didn't have time to really suck. Yeah, dude, I worked for MCI WorldCom at a call center.
I feel like you would have ended up hating that more if you...
Probably. You're probably right. Yeah, I worked for MCI WorldCom doing HP Pavilion tech support at a call center. And most of my job was the training. There was like a 6-month intensive fucking computer training program that I got paid to go through when I got hired for that job. I felt like a king. I was like, I'm getting paid to go to school and learn about computers, whatever. But it was all to prepare me to be able to fix people's problems. But the catch is that it cost money for me to fix their problems. And so people would call about their computer they just bought at Walmart, and they'd be like, hey, my HP don't work. And I'd be like, I can help you with that. Do you have the protection plan? Well, no. I didn't buy that. Well, unfortunately, then it's going to cost me $25 and I can fix your problem today. You're going to charge me? I just paid for this goddamn machine, motherfucker. Fuck you, click. I'd be like, oof. Incoming call. I'd be like, oh shit. HP Pavilion Tech Support, this is Paul. How can I help you? Yeah, I just bought this machine down at Walmart and I plugged it in and it don't do a thing. The screen don't even come on. I can help you with that, sir. Did you purchase the protection plan? What's the protection plan? Did you purchase the additional protection plan that gives you access to HP Pavilion Tech Support? It's listed right on the back of the box. No, I didn't buy that. Well, I can help you with that today, sir. I know what the problem probably is, but it's going to cost you $25. You're going to charge me $25 to fix this thing I just bought? We should work right out of the box. It does work out of the box, sir. I'm telling you, it's probably a very easy thing to fix, but unfortunately, I can't help you fix that unless you pay me $25. Oh my fucking God. So here's what happened. I hit the floor. I worked for like a grand total of 3 weeks and hated every 3 weeks. It was horrible, right? And then MCI WorldCom went belly up. It literally was like the tech crash happened. And MCI WorldCom was like, we don't exist anymore. And I was like, I got a pink slip. And I was like, uh-oh. I don't got no job no mo. That sucks. But not really, because that job really sucked.
I was going to say, you would have hated that more than the glass if you had been there for like 3 months even.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're probably right. Because I worked that job longer. Well, yeah, 3 months is about as long as I worked, because those were summer jobs. Yeah. So I worked at the CRA place.
So early, because I didn't know how young you were.
Yeah. So the earliest that I worked was at a CRA, but it was down the line. It was the one that wasn't as bad. So we would get full loads of cullet, and it was my job to stand as it came off the thing with a breathing mask on, and it would make a pile. It was really fine glass, so you couldn't cut yourself on it. And it was my job to stand in that pile as it grew and climb up it. And I was looking for little pieces, little flecks of like coffee cups and ceramic plates and metal, which were usually those metal rings that are around the bottle. When you crack a bottle that has a metal top, those little metal rings. I would pull thousands of those out, and that was my job. And that was a really mind-numbing job, but it was also pretty fucking chill because it was just the same thing every day. And I scammed my way at 16. Which I shouldn't even have been working that job, by the way. That was a nepotism job that I got because my dad was muckety-muck at the glass plant. I scammed my way into a forklift, into learning how to drive forklift that got me a forklift position down the line at 16, so whatever. I was 18 when I got the forklift position, but it was fun. You climbed on, it wasn't powdered, it was chunked. Cullet is chunk glass. You go look it up. Go look up glass cullet and you'll know what I mean. It's like really big sand.
Yeah. I said like micro beads.
Yeah. Like big chunky sand. You can't get cut on it, but yeah. It's actually called in the industry cullet. And that is the basis of recycled glass. So when you take that load to the glass plant, they dump it in the furnace and it melts into basically glass lava. And then it's pooped down into the molds and cooled and forced into that position. Dude, baby, would you mind going and getting that really cool?
Oh, yeah.
I'll show people. Since I'm talking about this shit and there's 317 people, I have this piece of glass art that was made at the glass plant where I grew up that I've carried around with me state to state to state everywhere I've moved. It's basically an ashtray. I don't use it like that because I'm afraid it's going to break. It's got a little crack in it as is. But I think it's a really cool... Yeah. I'll show you. If you can hang around Zonster, it won't take her long. She knows exactly where it's at. It's right on my desk, I think. But it's a piece of glass art that the mold makers at Madeira Glass made with a glass bottle that had a defect in it. And they used the glass press to make a piece of an ashtray out of it. And I've never seen anything like it anywhere. You can't get anything like it because it requires heavy machinery that's only in these glass plants. And they really shouldn't have been doing it. But yeah, Amelia's bringing it out right now. It's pretty fucking cool, honestly.
I'm just dry enough now.
Oh, all right, D. So here it is. This was made at Madeira Glass from a glass bottle. You can actually see the bottom of the mold there. And it was made out of their green. So they did 3 types of bottle at Madeira Glass. They did Flint, which is white. They did green, which is what you're looking at here, and they did brown. And so this was made on a press machine at Madeira Glass in Madeira, California. And it's basically supposed to be used as an ashtray. I don't use it as such very often. Every once in a while I'll have a J and I'll lay it off in this thing. But it's really cool, right? I've never seen anything like it. My mom has one that has the bottleneck still on it at her house. So it looks just like this, but it has a fully formed bottleneck that kind of is one of the splashes, which is really cool as well. But really neat, right? There was tons of this. My mom has tons of this in her house. It's crazy. But this is my piece. This is the piece that she gave to me. And it's got a little hairline fracture somewhere, doesn't it?
Yeah, on the bottom.
On the bottom. Well, it's not really a fracture. It's more of a defect of the molding. You can see there. I'm just worried about this thing chunking, so I'm very careful with it. So anyway, I'm actually worried about it being brought out here in the cold. It's beautiful. I'm going to send you some pics of the glass my mom and I collect. That shit is so cool. Oh, yeah, art glass is awesome. Now, this is like folk art glass. This is like blue-collar art glass, you know? It's really neat. The things on the side look like they... Oh, you have to be very careful with it. I mean, it's pretty thick. It's very It's very thick and very well... It's stocky. It's survived a lot of moves, let's put it that way. But I'm protective of it. I don't want it to break. Because it's very cool and special and unique to me. And it's a reminder of where I came from, for sure. That there is a reminder of me, what paid for my childhood, basically, and buttered my bread for most of my life while I was unable to butter my own. And I relied on my parents to do that. He's so clean. Please don't go roll in the dirt.
Hey, come on.
Stay up here. Well, maybe he has to go potty. Do you have to go potty?
You can go pee.
Go potty. But just don't roll. Don't do it. I don't know if you already talked about it, but how do you feel about Indians? We talked about it on Flash Fried, so tune in for that. It should come out today. The pleb version of Flash Fried, we talked about that. Does Dino have a DFF sweater yet? No, he does not. Such a thing, as far as I know, does not exist. So he has no DFF sweater. As of yet. He's working on it, though. This broke, by the way. This is such an old chair. Oh, my God. One of these days, it's going to be hilarious. One of these days, that chair is gonna break. Like, this chair is just gonna fucking fall to pieces live on the show. I'm kind of waiting for that day. I think that's gonna be a good day in the history of the show. The what she sees cam, yeah. You ever fell through one of those canvas lawn chairs? No. I have broken a couple of like dining room chairs that were like shitty, like Costco dining room chairs before as a fat guy, though, and that's not a good feeling. You know, like just like the shitty fucking like, and you're like, oh man, fuck. I shouldn't have sat in that. And I think I broke one of these types of chairs once. That was all old and fucked up. I sat in it, and I was just the last. I was the straw that broke that camel's back, dude. Porch looks cool. It is pretty cool back here. It's a nice big, like, spacious porch that the sun hits at different times of the day. And so it's alternately pretty chilly back here and pretty warm when the sun's directly on it, you know, which is nice. Warner Brothers said they released Dune on HBO Max the same day it releases in the theaters. Oh, Sean says nice video to meds. I'm going to check it out as soon as I'm done here, too. I had a friend who was huge. He'd jump on trampolines and almost hit the ground. Dude, yeah. As a big dude, I don't be doing the trampoline thing. Hello, Dee. Do you feel pretty good now that you're all clean? Let's let the people take a look at you. Oh, yeah. Cleanor. Look at me. Why don't you like the camera? Pump, 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 pump. I love them, leave them, fucking eat them, cause I don't fucking need them. Take them out the hood, bring them up for good, but I don't fucking feed them. I can whistle. Dude, I can whistle real good. That was just a weak whistle. Dude, I can do the whole fucking, like, Andy Griffith whistle real good. If I wet my whistle first. I just got called out that I couldn't whistle. But I tried to whistle without my whistle wet. Gotta make sure that the mustache is out of the way, too. Can't have hair impeding your whistle.
What about the Tarantino one?
Which one?
The one in Kill Bill?
Oh, oh yeah, the. Oh, fuck. I can't do the high one. That's such, that's so high. It gets so high. It might even start lower than that. I'm way better at the fucking Andy Griffith tune. That's the one I'm trained in. I can whistle pretty fucking good, dude. I can do the. That one I can do. I kind of have to like to hit that really high one that they hit at the end.
You gotta practice it a little bit longer.
It might be a suck in one, but those are harder to tonally control. Very airy I have to get to hit that high note.
And they might have turned it up too for the movie.
Yeah. Very tough. Ed, and Eddie. Yeah. I can't. I don't know the Ed, and Eddie theme well enough. It's a little after my time. The Star Wars opening theme. Yeah. Let me get it going here. That high note. This train is stopping my whistling. I could almost hit that high note. I'm out of practice too. See that high note right there in the Andy Griffith song is like the top of my range that I can hit in a real full good whistle. Let me let this train go by and then I'll do Andy Griffith for you guys. Choo choo. I learned to whistle because of the Andy Griffith song, because when I was a kid, reruns of that would play on TV and I loved it. And so when I was a kid, I started whistling the Andy Griffith. I learned how to make how to do it. My particular way of doing it. It's a whole performance though, so I might fuck it up a little bit, but you guys will get the drift. It's been a while since I did the whole Andy Griffith.
I think it was like a grease trap you did back when like you were going over to TJ.
I don't do it a bunch. I'm not a whistler. I don't walk around the house whistling a bunch. You probably hear me though sometimes, huh? Doing a little whistling.
I know you were creeped out when the DoorDash guy was whistling.
Oh yeah, dude. We had a DoorDash dude that showed up and he was like, and we were just like, just leave it. It's a long, slow train, so it'll give me time to wet my whistle enough to really genuinely give you the performance. Yeah, Nick at Night used to show a lot of Andy Griffith, but in my day in the 80s, when I really picked up on it, it was like the network TV, whatever network would show it in the mornings. So like on the weekends, for example, after the cartoons, they would show a lot of reruns of like I Love Lucy and Andy Griffith. There's a couple other shows woven in there. All right, he's almost gone. Here comes his big diesel electric engines. Toot, toot. He can't see me. All right, let me wet my whistle one more time before I attempt this shit. It's windy out here too, so the whistle gets dry quick. Okay. The mustache out of the way. Whistle is wet. Here we go. It's pretty good. Fucked it up a little at the end there. The whistle got a little too wet, but you got to keep it wet for those high notes. That's a pretty good recreation of the Andy Griffith whistle. A little fuck up at the end there. Could have done a retake at the end. Maybe a two-taker.
Marshall was trying to do a clap, and he ended up doing the hand washing emoji.
That's cool. 9.2 out of 10, 8 out of 10. I think it's right in that range. Thank you. I appreciate that. As a non-competition amateur whistler, hey, I'll take it. Nah, that sucked. Come on, dude. It was pretty goddamn good. Peter, you're just being salty now, dude. That was not bad for an Andy Griffith fucking theme song.
No, he's talking to Jawan Hart about the whistling song, Good, Bad, the Ugly.
Oh.
He's responding to someone else.
Oh.
So he's not saying you suck. He's saying that a song that was in Good, Bad, and the Ugly sucks.
I'm trying to remember which one. I'd have to hear it, but I might be able to redo it if I heard it. Beard box. No, I can't really beatbox, man. I never picked that up back in the day. The Song of Storms. Which one is that? I'm trying to remember which one. Let me think of my Zelda shit. The Song of Storms is fuck. Man, it's been so long since I've been exposed to the Zelda shit. And you guys aren't going to be able to help me with it either. How does the Song of Storms go? Sorry, can't summon it from the stoner brain. I have to be able to hear it in my head so I can whistle it out for you guys. A down up, yeah. That's how you play the Song of Storms in the game, but that doesn't help me with the tune. Oh, you did it, Toad. Is it? I got it. I didn't think you'd be able to do it, but fucking Toad was able to name it. Dude, I think maybe... Nah. That was pretty good, Toad, but not Spectre good. But the da-na-na, da-na-na, that's all it took. Bum ba 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 bum 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 ba ba bum 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 ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum bum ba 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 dun na 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 dun dun. I don't trust the Toad enough. He's got that Doge avatar that made me think he's another fucking A. Lamau. A. Lamau had that alien A. Lamau avatar. I don't know, man. The meme lord avatar is the only thing that kept you from getting spectered there, my friend. I had you pulled up too, and I was like, the Doge though. Maybe not. Peter, you're banned. Get out of here, Peter. Get out of here. Ejected. He revealed who you were with that one, Peter.
Someone was saying like, I can't change my profile picture because I'm on mobile. It's like, what phone are you running that can't?
Yeah, dude, cry me a fucking river. Build me a bridge and get over it. Where did I put my vape at? Did it? Oh, fuck. I'm fucking fat and stupid. I'm sorry. Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Where's my Viper? Dude, can you help me rebrand? I feel my feudal war against Susan is dying. I don't know, man. Call yourself the Blatherskite. That's an old word that my dad used to call us when we were kids, when we were being really fucking, like, annoying, that I've always liked. And I've never heard it anywhere else, but he'd call us a bunch of Blatherskites. I have no idea what it means. It's probably really offensive, but I think it'll get through the filter, and I've never seen somebody branded as the Blatherskite before, so go with that one. How should you rebrand your account, Mountain Paul? You should delete it and just start fresh and try a different mode.
Yeah, the Paul thing is kind of outworn as well.
Yeah, dude, the different Pauls, it's just not working as well as it used to. You know what I mean? You did get moded. Yeah, that's true. A Blatherskite. How did I meet Amelia? She was riding by one day on her old vintage bike, listening to really quirky music on her headphones, and she almost fell. And I ran out to help her, and I steadied the bike, and she looked up from the bike, and I looked into her eyes, and we fell in love right there in the middle of the street. It was crazy. She had all this quirky stuff in the basket of her old bike. It was all stuff that I liked, like old flowers and, you know, like cool books. That's so romantic. If only it was true. What do you mean if only it was true, Brianna? That's dead on how we fucking met. Am I wrong? See, she just shook her head no. That's how it happened, man. I was listening to like this really quirky indie rock band, right? And she rode by and her headphones were so loud I could hear that she was listening to the same band. And I was like, wow, what a cool chick. And then she started to fall, and I was like, whoa, and I ran out to steady her.
And then you pinched my booty. What was that?
Right. And then as I was walking away, I slapped her right on the ass, and she was like, "Can I move in?" And I was like, "Yes." And that was the end, you know, or the beginning, I guess. The romance movie way, yeah. Yeah, and then we got $1 million and had 18 sets of twins and got a sitcom. Hollywood tricks you into thinking life is magical. Yeah, it's true.
I mean, it can be. You've had some movie moments in your life.
Oh yeah, blathering blatherskite was Gizmo Duck's phrase from DuckTales. DuckTales, that's true. You're right. I have it on good authority that friendship is magic. Oh boy. People are telling me that this Beauregard dude I worked with is you. Is that true? Absolutely not. Do I look like a rapper to you? I mean, come on.
Yeah, like everyone's like, it's a beard, it's Paul.
Dude, just because the fucking picture that represents him has a beard doesn't mean it's me. It's fucking silly. Silly shit. Beauregard is some fucking flash in the pan, one-hit wonder SoundCloud rapper as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the first song bangs, but a lot of people's first song bangs. It's like, what's he gonna follow up with is what I'm worried about. Till then, he's just an unproven SoundCloud rapper in my book. He dropped some fire or whatever, but I mean, everybody can blow fire once in a while, you know what I mean? It's like, I got to hear some more from this fucking Beauregard guy before I can call him a fucking good rapper, you know what I mean? He made a good rap song, but who knows how much of that was talented producer Marshall Manson? Probably like 90%. That's what I'm saying. The times are different now, man. DJ Kincaid, I don't know. I haven't heard anything from DJ Kincaid yet. John Wayne, huh? Jawan, you know me. You better put that in fucking Twitter. Do you recall what skooma mod? No, I don't. Sorry. I think it was called like Better Skooma or some shit. But
Probably better mods now.
it's been yeah, like I said, that was years ago, so she's right. There's probably way better skooma mods now that are like updated and shit, but yeah, I don't remember. I think I used to put the mod list in the description of those videos, or at least part of them. Mod list, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. I can't tell you though. Don't go into the mead place before the mission starts. That's all I know. Oh, okay. Good to know. You need some skooma right now? We'll get some. No, I don't want to play any more fucking horror games. So I don't want to. I don't want to Homer Simpson scream like that ever again, man. That's too much shit.
I mean, you took all your horror games off your wish list.
Yeah, I don't want any. I don't want to be scared no more, dude. I want to be scared. I'll do the horror movies, but the games, it's too much, dude. You ever get the urge to post cringe just for the fun of the reaction? I think I post cringe quite a bit.
On Twitter, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that what the DFF Reddit is for? Yeah. Posting cringe. Cringe, posting, cringe, posting, cringe. Piece of advice I wanted to add about corn cob bowls: smoke them like you would a cig. Okay, fair enough. Give them a try. Like I said, we ordered them, so we're just waiting on our delivery. What's your favorite pizza? My favorite pizza? Pepperoni and jalapeno. I keep it simple. Free pizza, yeah. Mouth inhale, then to lung. Don't just give a full lung inhale, if that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. You know, not direct to lung, mouth to lung. Yeah, like a cigarette. Gotcha. Sausage and mushroom. That sounds like something.
That's more mine.
Yeah, that
We
Emil.
only combine the two.
Now you found out that you and Amelia are pizza cousins.
Yeah. So we end up getting sausage, pepperoni, jalapeno, and mushroom.
I'm down with that, by the way. That's a good combo.
Yeah. That's our compromise.
Yeah. But if you were left to your own devices, you'd probably get sausage mushroom most of the time.
Yeah.
And I'd probably get pepperoni jalapeno most of the time. And sometimes we do. Sometimes we just split it up. Some places let you do the half and half shit.
Or you just get two pizzas.
Yeah, or you just get two pizzas. Yeah, it's true.
Now I want it. You want to order some? Sounds good. You talking about pizza?
Oh yeah, I do kind of want to order some pizza.
We got a freezer pizza.
Oh yeah, or we got some. Oh yeah, we got the good goods too, right here. Yeah, I kind of do want pizza. Maybe we'll get some pizza today. Some pizza in a reality. I mean, Supreme is all right, but there's some stuff on Supreme that I just, I don't know.
The green bell peppers are iffy.
Yeah, me too. Like, they're not a totally, like, unwelcome presence, but they're just, like, unnecessary, I think. I'm not a big fan of green bell peppers on pizza. I'm off today. Might order a pie as well. Hey, you should, dude. Hey, if you're off today, see, I have to do some research and stuff later, but maybe we can play some fucking EverQuest. Quit dicking around. Get level 60 today. And just call it done, you know what I mean? Just be done with it. Stop fucking around. My romance story goes like this. I was on Tinder because no other dating apps have anyone on them in my small town. I scrolled through pages and pages of cringe fuck boys and country boys holding up fish. Cool. And I finally came across Taylor. We started talking mostly about how much dating sucks. Now everyone on here just wants sex. We might have... Oh, man, dude, that sounds like a game, though. Dude, that sounds like something I would spit as a game. I'd be like, you know, it's just like everybody here that I meet is only about the sex. But whatever, it worked out for you. I mean, it's not exactly like, you know what I mean, fucking running out to help her stop falling on her quirky old bicycle like mine, but it's up there, you know what I mean. I think I played a dating sim that went that way. Maybe it did. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and end this now. Thank you guys for chilling. I've had a fun time. Have a good one. Bye.